I've been checking this out. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing being posted to Facebook for the club the last couple of weeks. Really beautiful stuff coming out. I saw somebody, and I don't remember the name, posted a twisted piece today, and I can't get it on my other device right now. But boy, it's really sharp work coming out. Nice work. And somebody, I saw your thing about our Facebook page is not made to advertise or promote
Yes.
business. And some folks may have missed, and they may be new, but we've been at this just almost 5 years now. Um, the the entire goal and the entire way this was set up, and the older members, more elder members, understand that this is for the duration of wood turning. If you want it to benefit your income or whatever, that's fine. Do it on your own system, your own way. Etsy, whatever those numbers of gangs of people out there they are. That's all fine. We're here just to your turn. No tools, no gizmos, no gadgets, no galleries, no programs or anything like that. We're just here to share wood turning. And what I'm seeing is more and more of us bringing members who have, I see some of their early work, which was, and I'm being kind about this, and I don't want to mock anybody. Their early work was rough. Well, so was
Yeah.
mine. Looked
Yeah.
like I started turning with a hatchet and an axe, and that was refined work. And I sanded with a brick, and things like that. And a lot of us have that. They had that technique, and we have finally tuned it to get to where it was something we're proud of. And whatever we turn, it's ours. We all have it in our heart. We all want it out there. We want to show it. We want to share it. We want to let people know that this is what I can do. It's not look what you can do. It's look what I can do. And there's a possibility you can follow me. And if you want to copy my work, jump on board. It's fine. Don't copy my mistakes, but copy my work. And that was a big issue years ago when people said, "Oh, you're insulting by copying my work and using this and using that." I was never insulted when somebody copied my work or tried to mimic what I did. I always thought, well, you know what? You follow the best. If you want to copy me, that's all right. It's doing good. But the whole goal of Worldwide Woodturners was just to share this idea. And I still hear from some folks, and I bumped into one the other day, and the guy said, "How's that little online thing working out? Y'all got any interest in it yet?" And I said, "Any interest in it yet? We have hundreds of members a week, thousands of members a month. We have a fantastic world-class newsletter put out every other week." I said, just go ahead and find that someplace else. But if you find it someplace else, don't you have to pay for it? All we ask our people is to be dedicated. We just ask them to come on, share what you know, be proud of it, and let us see it. And we're going to put it out there for everybody else to see. There's no secrets. There's no magic. There's no handshake or anything else. And the guy says, and that works out for y'all? Because in our club, if you give away a copy of the newsletter, they want to know who you gave it to and why, because they didn't pay for the newsletter. What? Wait. When did this become secret? It's not a secret. I hated that. And I hate it now when somebody says, "Well, if you join us and you pay us such and such, you can be part of our gang." Boys, like down on in Bronx, someplace, where come on, you can be on a corner with us, and that's it's funny, but that's not how it is.
Yeah, we're not the Crips or Bloods.
Yeah, and guess what? We're only here to help the other guys.
Mhm.
And I'm so proud that we have managed. I'm talking about the gang of woodturners that get together. Gang, and my wife says, don't ever use that term, the gang of woodturners, on a mob. But we've gotten together and we've managed not to have anybody sneak in and pull a snake oil thing on us to where, all right, you know, not this, but if you send us $50, then we'll do such and such, or you know, join up and get this. We've never we've never tried to sell anything or pawn anything off or make any side money or gather something like that. It's 5 years, been very, very clean, very clean. And boy, I'm so proud that we keep it that way. Man, I'm told now I can't travel to SWAT. It's coming up in just a couple of weeks, 4 weeks away. I need a dedicated guys. And you don't want to say guys, there's ladies included in that, right, guys? But I need a dedicated wood turner to take over our promotion at SWAT for 2024. We've got probably a full roll of Worldwide Woodturner stickers available. And I would ship that whole roll to them right now. And because we need to get our name out there, let folks know where this is at, that we are free and it's their wood turning club. It's their club. Sure, boom, easy. One line. And all you have to do is be involved. Last year we had our own table in the dining room.
Sure did.
Yeah. Took over the dining hall. Well, I didn't take it over, but hey, if we're going to think about this, you got Billy Burt, you got Grinstead, you've got
Kelly Shaw,
who's that outlaw from
Joaquin
Christie?
Joaquin Vincent.
Joaquin Vincent. And then
you know what? We got Duxbury going to be there, and
that's a problem. That's a problem.
I think Mr. Jim. I think Mr. Jim would be a prime candidate to distribute some stickers for us and slap on the lathes down there that don't have one already.
Yeah, you see, you get that crew together, we will run down the town hall. I can't be that far away from where I need a treatment. So
yeah, understandable.
I've been through that battle, and boy, I tell you what, I ain't fighting these people. They tell me to do the rules, and there's no what ifs. There's no screwed up the other day, and my wife went out of town for 4 days, and I was here, and I thought I had my kids lined up. And I said, but she's leaving me to fob to the car, so if I need to go someplace, my doctor is the sweetest lady I know. And she's a very, very dedicated woman. Her head like to pivoted right where it was at. And she turned around and she says, you will not drive a car. And I said, no, I mean, you know, in case of emergency, she said, there is nothing in this world that urgent. And I said, but it's just, I mean, I have not looked at a set of eye like that in a long, long time. I served a long time ago. I hadn't looked at a drill sergeant's eyes that hard and said, yes, ma'am, I will not drive. There was no more conversation, you know.
They need to get you a decked out golf cart.
Yeah. And well, she had comments about the bike. She said, we're going to get outset training wheels for me, whatever. But I've never. I love the lady, and she the look I had. You know, you kind of quiver a little bit and say, "Okay, you're not going to say what if. Don't say what if. No matter what, don't say what if. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it." But I need somebody, and it'll come up. Somebody will pop up and say, "Hey, Cap, you know, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to take care of it because it's what we're all about." And I mean, just. You know how interesting it's going to be at a dining table across the table of Duxbury and Bert and Joaquin and all the others. And I mean, if you think it's trouble here, think about it there. When there are no censors and rules and guidelines, and the crazy is on. That's when the fun will begin. That is it. And it'd be a blast. we're gonna do that. That's
And
coming.
I'm 1,500 miles away. I'd love to join that group.
Wouldn't it be a ball? Would it be a ball?
It would.
It's one of those things. That's
We're
one.
1,200. We're 1,200 miles.
Yeah. What I told the doc, and she said we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. It ain't changing. And you know, after the cold down steroid about the driving, I said, don't press it. She's got knives and everything else around here. You just say it was a surgical error, you know. But we'll work it out. It's coming up. It's gonna be a fun time. I was looking at the agenda and it all. I didn't get the list of who's who and when, but it's gonna be a great time. Hey, coming up next week, it's only a few days away, folks, is going to be July. That's right. So you think it's hot now, it's going to get hotter then. Even hotter in August, but let's talk about July right now. The theme for July for Worldwide Woodturners is patriotic. That's right. You're going to get a little turn in this for the next couple of weeks. Think about patriotic. June is supposed to be Pride Month and all the thing about the colored flags and all that stuff. I'm personally catching a little heat because on Facebook I put a thing up and said there's only one flag.
Yep.
Mine's got 13 straws, 13 stripes, 50 stars, and it flies out in front of the house every day. That's what I have. That's, you know,
Right side up.
I hate to tell you, but the only flag has one big red maple leaf in the center.
Well, that's y'all's flag.
yeah, but hey, I respect it.
Everybody
Respect it.
has their own single flag, you know, not an individual group taking a flag and commandeering it. That was the point of the conversation.
Yeah. But you know,
Hijacking the rainbow.
yeah. But the July is patriotic. So if you're gonna do a little turning, keep that in mind. Come up with a few things. I'm thinking Brenda's gonna probably give us some frames with some stars. You know, and Matt's gonna have a little red, white, and blue in there someplace. Might be one of those fancy paints, but it'll be in there someplace.
I'm already thinking about it, Eddie.
Hey, you see, I can read your mind. It's what will Duxbury and Bert come up with together, you know, and or separately. That's even worse. And that'd be
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
But yeah, oh wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness, the crazy's loose. But then say you're cooking. But August it's gonna be heat. Yeah, August is heat. Because we have a theme for every month. And like the see your gallery deal, it's not limited to that. We don't limit galleries to just those items, but it's fun to see what your creative wood turns can pop up with those things. And boy, if we tease you a little bit and say, what do you think about such and such? And get your juices flowing. That's all. I love to have a conversation with some of these guys that go in there shopping and come up with these nifty ideas. I mean, Martin came up with the cannon last year, with the little pop cannon with the paper popper in it. I showed it to the guy that became my apprentice, Tommy, and he made one, and he got told to take it out of the restaurant. It wasn't the first pop was okay, but I think he had a whole box up and they kind of carried away. But things that are fun, bring it out and share it. Because every time you do this, you're going to go to some July 4th activities, bring a little something and give it away. Share it with somebody. Put it up there for the kids, the grandkids, the people that go around, especially if you, I see professionals every week, to leave a little something special behind, a pen or a pen case or a trinket or whatever, something small out of your shop that came from you, from your heart, that matters. Guy came by the other day, Val. He's a turner from the other side of the river from New Orleans. And that's how we space things around here. He's from the West Bank, which is actually, if the West Bank's from here, he's south of me on the West Bank. He made this little It's the table saw project. It's a, there you go. See the profile? It is a telephone holder standard for your phone to go in. To do it. Simple table saw
Nice.
project. Not we're wood turners, but simple table saw project. Block of wood. And I said, how'd you get into this? And he said, he blamed it on me. Why? Resin. I got him into doing things with resin. And we did some block ups of resins. He took the ends and he had the blocks laying in and said, now what can I do with the drops? And he had a whole box of things that he made with drops. Pens and bottle stoppers and all nifty little things, all tokens he could leave with somebody when he went someplace. And he said it's a big impression when you go for an appointment and you leave a little something special behind. And I told him about what I used to do with the pens. Unlike Freedom pens, when I was in a mood, I'd spend my 12-cent pens with no kit. And I'd make as many as I could get into a drinking cup and put them in the truck. And I'd give them away every day because it was just a trinket. Go sign my name's place and leave it. You left behind a big kingpin that was made out of wood, scraps from the shop. Great tool practice because I got where I could insert it over. I turned it on a mandrel made out of a 1/8 inch drill bit, 5/32 drill bit, being held in a Jacob's chuck. And that was the only tool on the lathe, the only fitting. There was no mandrel or anything else. That was it. I drilled it, brought the tailstock up, shaped it, sanded it, finished it, and then the piece was done. It was a nifty thing. I had a couple of videos on it. I'd go off and leave, and people say, "But you made that?" Yeah. How can you afford it? Well, the refill out of a Bic was 12 cents, now 9.8 cents. And it would make a lot of points with people. And they all like it. And then when I got my laser, I'd put little sayings on it and put them around. It was a nice thing to do.
You made the mistake of telling us.
I'm sorry? Was that? Oh, they're probably talking to somebody else.
Yeah, somebody with an open mic.
Okay. But those are fun little projects to do. Same thing when you go to a dinner, bring a bottle stopper. If you don't put a Niles stainless steel tip on it, use one of the cork or the plastic. They're not expensive to get. But you go to dinner someplace, bring a bottle of wine and put a stopper in it. Or bring a bottle and a stopper. The bottle always doesn't get open when you're there. Or if you leave it behind or give it as a gift. Toss in a stopper and make it unique, make it yours. Give that little bit of a twist on it. And I've seen some really unique things being done lately with inserted pieces back to the epoxy filled pieces and bread drops, shop drops, and all that. I used to like those little Dixie cups, the little 2-ounce ones. I could pour the whole top in, put the block in there, and let it mold for a day or two, and spin it. And it looked like it was magic, and especially if you had some burl pieces or some awkward pieces. It would stretch out your imagination, see what scraps you could take off the floor and make it into art. And that's we do good. All right. We've got a great demonstration coming up for you this evening, folks. It's really good stuff. Last week's demo is already loaded and available if you haven't seen it. And that is the feature of Worldwide Woodturners. Everything we show, everything you see, everything we do is constantly available, always available, pardon me, on our website. That's what our webmaster, our master webmaster does. He puts all this information together so it's instant. It's not secret. You don't need a magic code or anything else. It's all there for you. But I keep getting requests by email. And honestly, I don't get a lot of email. I really don't. I'm trying to get what sun's not in my eyes. I don't get a lot of email. But what I'm getting lately is folks saying, can I get a copy of the contact list? Can I get a copy of your menu list? Can I get a copy of, we don't have those. And I can't help you if you send it to me because I don't have it. I don't have a list. What we have available is a contact list, and that's voluntary. So members who wish to share information can go to our chat, type in the information they wish to share. If you want to tell me your names of your dogs, it's fine. But put that information in chat. Our webmaster will take that out and put it in our contact list. And he does that before he posts the chat online, so it's not automatically online. And then you can request a copy. Right there it says request a copy, how you do it, and you fill it out. Fill out the form exactly like it says. The subject or except it's the one you have to fill
Actually,
in.
Eddie, we've had to change that because of hackers. They figured out how to hack in and use our unique password.
Oh
So-
man.
So the process now is either contact Dave, the webmaster, send him an email for the contact list, or to contact me for a copy of the contact list.
Okay, I didn't know we made that change.
Yeah, we made it last week. We've been having issues with it now for the last 5 weeks, and we haven't been able to come up with a secure way to keep these hackers from getting a hold of it. I mean, they almost hijacked the web page.
But we still have it available, but we're controlling it a little
Right.
bit.
Yes, we're just controlling it differently. That's all.
You
Info
did-
gets in it the same way to the chat.
The hackers made it a little more difficult to do business, but we can overcome that. Which is good. But still, if you email me, I can't help you. But that's the only way to get a hold of another member. Now, once you get the list, don't throw it away. We have a lot of people that want to be talked to about this. And I had one call the other day, a guy said that old goat in Alabama. And now if I said old goat in Alabama, half a dozen of y'all know exactly who I'm talking about, don't you? Mark Soleil. He is selling out his business. And yeah, and we're helping him. We're helping him for one reason, because he's one of he's one of the family members. He's helped us out a lot. He's got a little bit of a health issue, and it's a friendly thing to do. And remember, we're gonna help woodturners. So I'd help somebody else do the same thing. Y'all helped me when I was looking to liquidate my stuff and move things on, and we all stepped in together. My thing when I needed to close out my stuff and my business and my shop and everything else was I just didn't want to give it to the hoarders. That was the deal. I did not want to have a guy say, I want to get that if you have a reason, because it's not the reason why, and we help people like that. That's why we do this. And if we can help you with something, folks, you gotta let me know. Gotta let us know. Easy thing to do is just throw it in the chat and say what you need. We check the chat every time. So, if you need something, pardon?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because that's why we're here. That's why it clicks. I'm gonna have to talk to wife about adjusting curtains. I'm not permitted to adjust here. That would mess with the decor of the room. Don't forget, patriotic is a theme for this for July. I like to see what y'all come up with. Got any ideas? I got suggestions, got a little challenge. Come on, throw it up there and get the ball rolling. It's a few minutes after the top of the hour. You're on worldwidewoodturners.org, your woodturning club. we got anything coming up right now, Dan?
Well, we got some gallery coming up right now. We can switch here
Ooh.
real quick. Well,
Ooh.
let's get the old guy from Arizona out of the way, and then we can get to the good stuff.
Not that teaching school guy, huh?
Here we go. So, got my hollow form done.
I like that.
Super.
And let me see. Let me switch to my cell phone. Camera's better on it. There we go.
And it's gorgeous.
Your finishes are just amazing.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I mean, my God.
Cooks them in the truck.
Yeah,
These
I
are-
use my truck as a
damn
gearbox
good
for each-
camera,
each
one
bit
or
of
two.
finish.
I
So
heard what you did, but that's beautiful.
And so this is a piece of eucalyptus. It's 6 inches in diameter here at the widest crest. It's 3.5 inches tall. It's got 4 millimeter walls. The finial is 5.7 inches tall. The finial is made out of, and the beauty ring is made out of Chilean mesquite, which I took iron acetate and painted on with a paintbrush, being careful to leave the sapwood. And there's a little bit here on the back side of the finial.
Now, let me ask you, Dave.
Let me finish describing it. And then the top of the finial is gold leaf, because my wife said I needed to put gold leaf on it. So, like any good husband, you listen to your wife. And then cracks with the eucalyptus out here because of the monsoon seasons and just the nature of the way this wood grows. The heartwood, when you get into it, will always have cracks and fractures in it. There's not a such thing doing an ingrain piece where the heartwood is going to be solid. So filled those with true Sleeping Beauty turquoise, which I get from the Gem and Mineral Show every year. That comes out of the Mojave Mine out west here. So, yep. So that's it. And there's the bottom.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a little
Dave,
different.
what I was going to ask you is,
Yep, go ahead.
what made that finial make the grain? Because you showed what you did. You went through about 10 different finials.
Yep.
What is special? What made this one?
So the finial is perfect for the golden ratio. So it's 1.62 times the height of the vessel. So it sets everything off. And then the finial shape, the bell shape, and then the bottom where it's framed with the little wafer, followed up with the little wafer at the top for the top of the finial.
Right. I know you went through quite a few of them. You were saying.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, I turn lots of finials before I decide on one. And then I'll bounce it off of a couple people that I respect, and obviously my wife. And 9 times out of 10, what my wife says works. And then a couple of the other individuals I'll bounce photos off to see what they think. They all agree, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't care for the finial, and everybody's telling me there's nothing wrong with it. Just go with it. You're being a little too critical, so I did, and after I was done finishing it, I really like it. So,
does the lid lift off?
No, it's all one piece, and the reason why is because that crack ran all the way through, and so I needed to do the beauty ring and make it a friction fit to add dexterity and bond with the side of the eucalyptus here to keep it from separating.
So the finial is eucalyptus also?
No, the finial and the beauty ring is Chilean oak.
Okay.
Yep.
Good job.
The
Yeah,
lines of
thank
the finial, if you take a still photo and you look at the lines on a finial and you go from all right, great, thank you. and you go from the first ring on the bottom, not the outside of the beauty ring, the first ring on the bottom. You take a straight line up over the bulb to the outer flange of the upper. There's a straight line there. You see it? There's that line is perfectly straight, and that point that catches your eye and drives you to believe that is sharp. Now, if any of those shapes were off, smaller or larger, your eye would have to travel around them. That's why that finial clicks. That line
Thank you, Eddie.
clicks.
Appreciate it. Right on.
That
And
line clicks.
why did you
That's where I
choose
was
that
going.
particular wood for the finial?
Why did I go with black?
Why did you go with that particular wood for that finial?
Because I've got it everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
Chilean mesquite's my primary wood out here.
Okay.
Yep. And
Sure.
same with eucalyptus. It's a primary wood for me.
Yeah.
All that hard stuff.
Okay.
So, but yep, that's me.
Very nice.
Appreciate it, y'all.
Absolutely beautiful.
Very gorgeous,
Nice looking,
Thank
Dane.
you. Thank you. Thank
Good
you. Thank
job.
you. I appreciate it.
gorgeous, Dane.
And it's
You
got
did the cat did
and,
a
then so it's got my same process. I use Woodland seed oil as my sanding sealer. Sits overnight, it's cured. D-nib, do 2 coats of 60-40, 70-30 denatured alcohol to tung oil. After coating it, I take it out, sit it in my truck, sits there for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, pull it back out, D-nib it, second coat, do the same thing, and then it's got 6 full strength coats of tung oil put on it. And after each coat, I put it out in my truck. It bakes for an hour and a half, 2 hours, bring it back. So I get essentially I could coat it all in one day, but that one took me a few days because I had some health issues to where I couldn't get around last week. So, but yeah,
So that's what's the ratio of tung oil and denatured alcohol?
60-40, 70-30 with the alcohol being the primary.
Okay, close to close. Okay.
Yeah, and so yes, Matt, I use my truck as a curing oven. One, it's dust free. 2, it's 20 to 30 degrees hotter than what it is outside. And no, you don't want to use green wood for it because then it's going to warp and
Yeah, if I did that, half the woods I have would crack. So
Right.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, lovely.
Put a brisket in there too. You could put a brisket in there too.
Darn near. Yeah. I've actually done a test and done eggs, and the eggs will cook underneath the windshield on a cast iron skillet in about 6 hours. Throw that on a piece of toast and a little bit of hot mustard. Yeah.
Throw them on your sidewalk, they'll fry in 5 minutes.
That's a dry heat though.
Well, no, but it's hotter inside your vehicle because it's being magnified by the glass, Dale.
Good
And
for us.
also you don't have any sand and grit because you're not going to eat off your sidewalk.
Well, that's
All right,
true.
Ruby, we got you now, Ruby.
Well, I wasn't sure you were going to or not. Well, I figured by now Al needs more inspiration. So I found this family of guys that lives in my living room. So there's the mama, and there's the 2 little baby ones. It's just a case of taking pine cones, you slice off the far end, and then I took pieces of cedar, red cedar in this case, and you turn a face. And I have a little stem that I drilled into this to glue it on with. And then you can put expressions of whatever you want on them. So it's a simple project, but kids of all ages tend to like them.
It's such a mood
Really
changer.
cute.
It's a mood changer when you show somebody that. It just makes them feel good. It does. I've seen it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I've got something for Dane after
Yeah.
that picture you
Oh,
sent me
you
last
did it,
week.
huh? That a girl.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
He wanted an image
Beautiful.
of a harp eagle, so I did one up.
My God. And that's all
Great
burned.
job. I knew you could
Well,
do it.
that's really a hoot.
Very
That's all
nice
burned.
job.
Okay, that's it for me, okay?
Alrighty. Let's see. We have Al next. How about that?
Oh boy.
Get ready, Al. We're coming to you.
Hello.
There we go.
I'm here.
Yeah, you're
How's
here. Just give
everybody?
me time. Give me time.
Is Martin in? Martin, are you
Martin
here?
is in.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
First of all, I wanted to show you this last week, but I forgot to go into the chat, so I didn't get on to listen till late. But you talked about what was his name? Well, first of all, we're all wood cobblers, right? We're all wood cobblers here, and you spoke about, was it his name Giuseppe? Here's you talked about
Geppetto.
Geppetto. I think all of us cobblers should make a Pinocchio.
Yep.
And this is all because of Martin.
Great idea,
Martin's
Robert.
a little inspiration to me.
Yep,
I
very nice.
still have to put a little bow tie here yet, but thank you so much, Martin. You gave me such really kind words a couple weeks ago. Every time that you're here on Wednesday nights, I hope you always have a black tie night. Thank you so much, Martin.
Nice job, Albert.
With a good smile.
Hey,
Enough to smile.
but you wear that you wear the hat well. Thank you so much. Thanks, especially for the kind words, for sure.
Great job.
But these are a lot of fun. These are a lot of fun to make. So that's basically all I have. I just, thank you everybody for, this is a great club. Cap, thanks for just a great idea that you put together.
More than welcome. It's great.
Thumbs up, thumbs up. This is so much fun.
All right. Thanks, Al.
That's the show now. Good night, guys. Everybody have a good time.
Let's go to Mr. Kingsley.
Howdy.
You got Dave.
Well, I had somebody donate some wood, and I also have a pastor who keeps telling us how much he loves peach muffins. Somebody gave me some peach, so I made him a muffin.
Oh, nice.
Got a nice,
That's cool.
nice fit.
Good
And
job.
I tried to make the top not shiny because I figure the top of a muffin isn't going to be shiny. But the bottom is waxed.
That's
But
Shiny if you get enough good sugar on it.
yeah.
Very
I didn't
cute.
think of that. I should have got some sand.
Send it over to Matt. Let him get his broccoli.
Yeah, well, I just saw some white sand would be perfect.
All right, Mr. What is it, Dave?
Peach.
What's the vessel?
It's peach.
A muffin.
That's a peach.
It's a muffin. Yeah. A friend of mine was cutting down a peach tree and I said, can I get a hold of it? And she gave it to me. I mean, it's a little frivolous, but it's something that I've never seen before.
Very
Probably will
cute.
never
That's
see it
great
again.
fun. Nice job,
Yeah,
Dave, and
thanks.
nice job on the box.
Very
too.
nice job.
Very nice.
Gotta have fun.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Dane, have you froze up?
How's that grandson, Dave? Dave? Oh, lost you.
He's a blast. He'll be turning 2 in a couple of weeks.
Ooh, he's on trouble, huh?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're my wife and I are taking him away to to summer camp with us in a couple next week for a few days. It should be interesting.
Hope you survive it. All right, have fun with him.
Oh, I have a blast.
Good.
Best thing ever.
Nice. So Matt,
All
do you
right,
have-
so
Yeah,
I do have some stuff. Okay, Dane's back. I see him.
yeah.
Well, I'll turn it back to him. I do have something. Let me put myself in and do me, and then we'll see if there's anybody else. Okay, these are just a few pieces from last week. I've made some changes. So there's this one here. What I did in this one is I sanded out the middle. My first coat on this was a black stain, and that's what you see in the grain. And I did it in the bottom too. So
That's really
and
nice.
then thank you. Yeah, I'm delighted with how it turned out.
Oh, looks good. I really like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy with it too. The yellow, I mean, you can't really see the yellow in this light, but there's yellow in here. There's yellow in here, but it's not really showing up really well. Looks better here.
I like that one
so
better than the other one.
Yeah, that's the same one. I'm going to see about getting a brighter yellow and see if that doesn't change the dynamics of it. So this one here is a sort of a recovery piece. So what happened with this is I tried to do some blue stain, and after I sanded it off, I didn't like it. Looked kind of blotchy, and I think I showed this last week too. I'm not sure, but so what I ended up doing was painting it all black and then carving all the white is the base wood that's carved. So there's some of the figure that's still in here from the wood itself, and some of the blue is in here, but this is a lot of fun. So
Was that box elder?
yeah, absolutely it is. I have a lot of it, and we cut down. Last year we cut down 4 trees or something. People don't like them. I love the wood. It's a great wood to turn. It burns well. It turns well. It carves well.
Yeah.
I make good finials from it. And so, hey, and it's free. So that's all I've got for tonight. I made some things in the shop this week, but just some basic stuff like a bowl, utility bowls, and I made a spatula today because I needed one and that kind of stuff. So
You turned a rough bowl yesterday, I believe it was.
I did, and it was red oak, and it was a basic utility bowl, and then I hit it with I torched it. So let me show pictures of that, and if you want to see that, I can do that.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
As soon as I saw it, I thought if I'd had something, looking at the grain of it and everything, and I don't steal any of your thunder, but this is, because you play with the colors and everything else. I would have rough sanded it and then taken out my sandblaster with about 90 pounds of pressure and etched it out. That's the piece. And I would.
So this is the piece, and I don't know. This is after I hit it with the torch. I don't know if you guys can see that, but
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the torch really showed up, and all I did was just run it quickly along the grain, and a little bit on the inside to see it, to show the grain. And the picture is a little distorted. It's actually more bowl-like, and it's down in my shop. It's got stuff in it, but it's not as flat as this. It's a little more round. So it's only like 6 or 7 inches across. So it's not very big.
Back on that photograph again.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Is that torched and then light sanded?
No, I just torched it. I sanded it to 220. Yeah, I just sanded it to 220 and then took it off the lathe and torched it. There's not even any finish on this. It's just torch.
You have 3 different grain typicals, and you've got a hard, a soft, and a ripple. And look at the accents with the 3 of them crossing in there.
Yeah, it's amazing, and this is one of the reasons why I love turning oak, especially red oak, is the light lines that are crossing the other grain. are what are called rays. They radiate from the center of the wood, from the pith.
Yeah.
So and if you get, I mean, I've turned oak before, and you get this amazing cross grain, especially like on boxes where you got a lot of curves and stuff. It's such fun, and the wood is so pretty, and you can really bring that out if you hit it with the torch. So
Yeah, and you can't create that in any other method. I mean, that's God talking to you right there. It's just beautiful. And what would you put on that for a finish after you torched it? All right, Mr. Artist.
I don't for its purpose, Eddie, I would spray spar urethane just because it's easy and it'll be cured tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got Helmsman spar urethane. It's durable. It's relatively waterproof compared to like lacquer or something. And I've got a can of it sitting on my table saw where it belongs. So that's what
my wife gives me color recommendations. She said slightly moist, which means she wants a little bit of a tint to it, like like if you wet your finger and touch it. Yeah. Oh, see that? Now. All right. I get a nod. That's what she's talking about. Yes.
Yeah, just
Hey, Matt.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done, but when you're done, go to Mark Soleil. He's got a comment on finishing, but go ahead and finish what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm all done. I have nothing else. Yeah, but what Eddie's saying is exactly the way I do it too. You don't want a heavy scorch unless you're trying to create a charred look. You
Right.
just I mean, I'm lightly doing it, and as soon as the color happens, I move somewhere else. So
Smart.
Yep. So
there's a different gas. There's a different gas you can use for that. Besides propane or MAP, there's another gas, and they used it when I used to fool around a lot with plexiglass, rolling plexiglass, because some of the gases are too hot and it'll bubble out plexiglass. But I don't know how to find the guy that taught me that. But it's a bottle, comes in the sleeves, like quart sleeves, and it generates a lower heat range, and it gave a smoother torching when you want to do torching of wood. And there was a furniture maker right around the corner from the plexiglass place that did all of his scorching with it. My brain cramp, I can't remember the name of the gas. But I will research that because it's really fun to play with.
very cool. We ready to go to Mark Soleil?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I had, in the last 3 weeks, I've had 2 of my students call me. And I just want to bring all you up to date. What they were doing is they were having some problems finishing their 3408, their Parfix 3408. Hey, number one, when you are, am I still on?
Yes.
You
Yeah,
are,
you're
Mark.
still on.
Okay. So what they were using is they were using Viva towels, and they were using these blue shop towels to wipe it on and wipe it off. That is a no-no.
No.
The Viva towels and the blue shop towels shed fibers. And so after they got done wiping, it's just like when you spray lacquer and you set it out. If you have dust in the room, the dust settles on the surface, and then you have to like resand it, to get that little gritty stuff off. Anyway, just use the Bounty or like Sam's Club has the members mark. They're smooth,
Costco.
smooth white paper towels that are hard, that do not shed fibers. That's number one. And number two, on that, one of the students did not blow off the dust after they sanded. And so when he, you know, rubbed on the glue and then rubbed it off or applied it and then wiped it off, some of that little dust balled up and came out of the pores and left a little of a rough surface. So we don't want to always like take your air compressor and blow the last your 800 random orbit little sanding stuff, blow it off the surface, and you'll find that you'll have a lot better luck. And other than that, just make sure that when you put it on, you don't have any gaps as you wipe it on. Number two, make sure you wipe it off. And when you do wipe it off, always stop that lathe and do 800, or not 800, but just do random orbit with your paper towel so that you don't have any radial stripes on that wood. And you'll find that you can go directly to the Vonnex and directly to the wax. And another thing, always remember that if you have any spalted wood, spalting, which are the little black lines that are in the wood as it's dying, are actually the trails, the sugar trails, as this thing dies. And spalting is faster than any accelerator on Earth. It'll almost make super glue explode.
No, I didn't know that.
That's all I have.
Very good tips and information right there from the master slicer, Mark Soleil. Thanks, Mark.
All right. That was a nice finial and everything, Dave.
Hey, I appreciate it, Mark. Learned a lot from you.
All right.
All right, Matt, I think we got Ron Vincent up next.
Before we go to Ron, we got Dewey Johnson is on the list before him. So if he's still
okay.
on.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Dewey.
Okay.
AKA Howard.
Since I still got this thing, I haven't been on the lathe for the last 3.5 weeks. So I've gone back to the archives and I've pulled out a piece that I did a long time ago that it's just spalted hackberry. And I did a laser along the rim,
Gorgeous.
along the sides here. Just a
Hey,
second.
Dewey.
There we go.
Can you do away with that background because it interferes with how
Yeah,
it looks?
hold on a second. Let me see what I can do here. How do I do that? I forget.
I don't know. I don't set it up. So
Go into
anyone
video,
has it.
Go to virtual backgrounds and click none.
All right. Where's the icon for that? I don't see anything.
On the bottom left corner of your screen, they'll say video.
Okay.
Click on that, and then choose virtual background in the list.
Okay, hold on. Okay, there I got it.
And then it says choose virtual background, then go there and click none.
There we go. Got it. All right.
That's
So
better.
anyway, I just did this bowl and on an octagon. And it's like I said, it's spalted hackberry. Did some laser engraving on the rim and along the edge and along the bottom.
Oh,
Like that.
wow.
And did I think I just sprayed it with some clear enamel. So anyway, that's my presentation for the week. I appreciate y'all letting me show.
Very nice, Dewey. Thank you, sir.
Nice.
All right, man, who we got next? Ron?
Yeah, now next is Ron, but I can't find him now. So it's like people
I'm
are bouncing
here.
around. There he is.
Can you find me?
Yep, gotcha.
All right. I've got just a simple bowl get the light shining in it. It's a piece of camphor that I dug out of a fire pit in Florida 2 years ago.
I'll bet your shop smelled great.
It does, but I actually had to dump my stuff out the dust because it got to me after a while. It was like, okay, it's really strong.
Yeah, beautiful piece of wood.
That's a beautiful piece of wood.
Yeah, Australian eucalyptus.
That's all I have.
It's better
Right on.
than
Thank you, sir.
burnt. Looks great.
Very nice, Ron.
But I really like that shape.
Yeah, it was just, that's as big as I could make it with the piece I had. Say it came out of a fire pit.
Yep.
I've gotten some
I've gotta
interesting
make
things
it
out of
right
fire
to the bottom
pits.
yet.
All right, who we
And
got
the
next?
the next one is Roger.
You're muted, Roger.
Still muted. Press the space bar once on your keyboard.
Bottom left corner of your screen.
Oh, we can see you. You could just show the piece. Ooh.
Wow.
Oh,
Very nice.
Very nice.
That looks neat.
Made a stand
Well,
for it.
that's a
Very
great
cool.
idea.
Very
wow.
cool.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Love the wood. Love the shape
Looks like
too.
looks
The wood's
looks like
gorgeous.
walnuts.
Looks like walnut. Got grain match
yeah.
like that.
Nice man.
Very well.
And end grain. Very cool.
Very pretty.
Beautiful pieces.
Be good for cookies.
Thank you,
huh?
Roger. Yep. That's all I've got on the list, Dane.
Oh, okay. Well, is Safety Sue on tonight?
I don't see
Didn't
her.
Haven't seen
I
her.
didn't see her come in. All right. Well, hey Doug, are you you feel like starting your demo?
We can do it. I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's get you highlighted here. And so Doug Miller's going to be doing our demo tonight. It's his demo. Any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. We can discuss various aspects of what he's doing afterwards during the turnings, during tool changeover, anything like that. I'll monitor any questions that come through and I'll shout them out to Doug so he can answer them. That way he's not being startled or having to lose his train of thought while he's turning. So with that, I am going to mute everybody. And then Doug, you'll need to unmute yourself. So I'm muting everybody now. And now you can unmute yourself.
All right. All right. It is good to see everybody tonight. It seems like it's been forever. I've been away for a couple of weeks, I guess. Got to catch up a little bit today on last week's meeting. And that was a lot of fun. Matt, you showing that vase for the second time did not hurt my feelings at all. It looks great. I love it. I love it. Anyhow, you can't really see. There it is. This is my practice piece from earlier today. Came out quite nice. Just a goblet, a small goblet with a quite a thin stem. And if you look very carefully, right there below that middle knot, it got even thinner. I thought I lost it, but somehow it stayed on. I thought it broke. I thought I cut right through it, but it stayed together and it's been sitting there ever since. No finish on it. It's not going to get any finish because it's just the way it is. It's with that place just below the center there, it's not worth keeping, as far as I'm concerned. And I certainly can't sell it, because of that. So, it'll
Send
stay
it to
just
me.
like it is.
I'll pay the shipping. Send it to me.
You know, you can always cut this whole stem off and just use the cub and put another stem on it.
Bring it to Dayton with you and I'll take it.
There you go.
No shipping
change-
needed.
Take my hat off, my Worldwide Woodturners hat, take that off
you
and
go.
put my face shield on. And by the way, if you follow me on Facebook, you probably saw that hat on Facebook with a beachy
Yeah, it's
background.
amazing where it popped up at.
Yeah, wasn't it fun?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's change cameras real quick here. We'll go to the overhead. And what I've got here is a piece of, I think it's pear. Now I just had a tape measure here. What did I do with it? Doesn't matter. I'll grab another one. Just so I can tell you how long it is. This was a piece of a branch. It was a branch came out of a crotch piece. This is about 9.5 inches long. Excuse me. And roughly 2 3/4 wide. At this point, it was a little wider. I've turned it just enough to get it semi-straight. It had a pretty good bend in it. I did go ahead and put my tenon on it. This red streak right here is some resin-crete that I put some red trans-tint dye in. I'm still not happy with my results that I'm getting with coloring the trans-tint or coloring the resin-crete. I'm just not getting the rich colors that I'm looking for. Anyway, this is going to be an ingrain goblet of sorts, decorative goblet. Of course, it does not have any intrinsic value other than just something to look at and be a conversation starter. But it's also a skill builder, technique practice piece. You can do all kinds of things. You know, first was roughing it down, getting it round. Had an issue or two with that, the cracks in it, filling the cracks, getting those together. Now we're going to do some ingrain hollowing, and that's always an interesting time, especially when it's an unsupported piece of wood. Going straight into the center and then coming out the spindle gouge. Kind of working my depth down at first, and then we'll open it up here in just a minute. Working from the inside out because it is ingrain. We'll see how the depth is, what it looks like. Well, I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. I don't care about getting it super deep. It's not like it's going to be a vase or anything like that. Something just fell. My chuck key. We'll get it here in a second. Don't need it till the very end anyway. All right, what do we got? We got still not enough. I'm going to switch over for the moment anyway to my I tell you what, being away for 2 weeks, I've lost my tools. I can't find them. It's crazy. We're gonna go to the number one hollower from Easy Wood. I think I'm on center there. Yep. And just, I know some of you guys like to know I'm turning at 1800 right now. Nothing says you need to turn this fast. It just that was a good balance point for me.
The goblet just fell.
Yeah, I saw it. So you
And
may or
now
may
it's
not get
sitting
it,
in
Brenda.
3 pieces on the ground.
There you go. I don't even see it.
Did it survive?
I don't know. Hadn't found it yet. Oh, there it is.
It probably landed in some shavings. It's all good.
It did, but it's a little worse for wear.
Oh.
I'm gonna put it behind me here. Maybe it'll make it Saturday. Okay. Several people have asked about our trip. We had a great trip. We had one tragedy though, and it's awful. We had 8 chickens. We lost them all. So I don't have to buy any more food till next year. It also means I have to eat spring. That's not good. All right, we're just about where I want to be. Okay. Now, turn that off. Move this out of the way for right now. I'm gonna bring my tailstock back up. There we go. If I was turning just a normal goblet, I probably would not even use the tailstock. Just let this end be free. But I'm going to use it because I'm going to go thin. I'm not, I've shared this whole idea before. I'm going to put pressure on to begin with, but what I'm going to do here is with the pressure on, there it is. Got to grab my tape. I'm going to wrap the end of the goblet and the cone center, make them one unit basically. Well, I can't do that just yet though. All right, let's back that
Yeah, I was
off.
gonna say you gotta finish your goblet bowl first.
Yep. Getting ahead
Well,
of
he
myself.
might have a different technique. So
You never know.
remember,
That's one of the nice things, and I talked about this in the last couple of days. There are so many ways of doing just about anything. There is no one way to do anything in wood turning. So we can have a lot of fun. We can compare notes. We can even debate, but there's no use arguing about any of it because we all get the same results eventually. I was just debating in my head, do I want to do the rest on the outside or I think I do. Get a pencil and give myself a little mark here. Just so I know where the bottom of the bowl is, roughly.
Do you have a new light on there, Doug?
I have totally rearranged. This whole end of my shop is different. Had a shop vac go out, and I got a dust collector. And in doing so, I had to rearrange everything. And in doing that, that meant I needed to change my lighting, not the lighting itself, but my light settings.
Right.
He
And
just
this
prefers
overhead,
it being pink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
I'm
a like
still-
a pinkish reddish tint on your overhead.
Yeah. Let me see if this helps any.
It's got to be a camera setting because the other camera didn't have
Yeah,
that pinkish
that's
tint.
washed out there. Yes, you're exactly right, Matt. That's what I was trying to say. Well, my light settings are not perfect on this camera. The other two cameras, I kind of like. They're better than they've ever been before. But this one, I have not been able to get it right yet. Just working down this sidewall here. I'm not trying to get it paper thin by any means. I am trying to get
Hey,
just a
Doug.
nice. Yes.
Well, you got to change over there. We have a nice question in the chat about could we discuss the tools that we're using and the reason why we selected those tools for the technique?
Yeah. This is a 1/2-inch spindle gouge. One reason is because this is a spindle work. Several years ago, when I showed this technique on this group, I did a 1/2-inch bow gouge beginning to end.
Your mic is breaking up, Doug.
Okay, he was right at the break point of being muted. What I started to say there was that I used to use a 1/2-inch bowl gouge because that was just my tool. I use that for everything. I still use a 1/2-inch bowl gouge for more than I should probably. But that's my tool of comfort.
Nothing wrong with using the bowl gouge.
No, it's not. It's just like I said, it was my tool of comfort. It's what I was introduced to in the early days of my turning. And so, yeah, it was Cade that really got me going on using a skew. Still not where I want to be with my skew, but it works a whole lot better. Now, a while ago, I had that #1 hollower from Easy Wood Tools because I was hollowing in grain, and it just does a super good job. That little small carbide cutter does a super job. Here we're going downhill on this spindle. See if you can see it. I've got that sharp angle there, and then it's the heel is ground off, so it's pretty thin on the end. Like it gives me a lot of lateral or a lot of options on cuts. Trying to keep that flute going in the direction that I want to cut. Still riding the bevel as much as possible.
I'm glad we pressed the unmute button so we could hear that.
I like to put a little bit of detail between my cup and stem. Just keeps it from, I don't know, gives it some separation, point of interest. All right.
Hey, Doug,
Yes, sir.
did you want to bring up tailstock support before you get too thin?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting a little worried.
Oh, no need yet.
Remember,
see me-
it's the demonstrator's demo.
Matt, you see me go about that far right out of 16th with no support at all.
I have it. It's I know it's coming right from my own fears, so no problem.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
understand. Oh, it's my fear as well. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I was just thinking it's about time to, well, let's do, even before I do that, let me do a little more. There we go. Oh, grab me a set of sandpapers here. My demo yesterday, I found myself having to hunt my sandpaper. It's always been all off to my right, and it's now off to my left. So it drives me a little crazy. I'm going to start with the 120 this time. Slow that down a bit too. A lot of times the sandpaper will, well, most all the time, the sandpaper is a little bit more effective and efficient if you slow the speed down just a little bit. So I dropped down from 1800 to 1000. Still probably too fast, but for the production turning folks, they don't typically slow down. They just go at it full speed. And I understand that. I've done some of that. I've done a lot of it, in fact. And it works. It works. Well, I had the same thing on that other one. There's a line on the inside of this cup that doesn't seem to want to go away. But it's okay for what it is for right now. And I want to do this. I want to do the sanding on the cup now before I go down the stem. Because if I do a really thin stem and I come back to sand, I could very easily snap the stem. So it's best to do it section by section. Do the cup. Then I'll do an inch or maybe 2 of the stem. Then I'll sand. And even finish if I want to do my typical abrasive paste and wax, I need to do that section by section. This one I'll probably use a like a wax oil wax, whatever. Up to 220, and that'll be the end of that. Okay, and with that, this is 4 paper towels, or no, 4 half paper towels, or quarter paper towels that I used earlier today. Just put that cone center right in there. Lock the tail center down, tighten it up. We'll go ahead and tighten down my quill, but then we're going to wrap it. I'm putting a bit of pressure on the tape. I want the tape to be good and tight. And if this was going to be 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick stem, none of this would be necessary. You could just go ahead, you could put a ball in there or put paper towels in there. Wouldn't necessarily have to have anything in there to support it. Probably better if you do. All right. But because we're going to turn thin, now I'm going to loosen my quill. I'm going to back it off. Or am I? No, it's not sticking. I got to get some more tape on there. Ran into this problem a couple weeks ago. Didn't want to stick. I just don't want to get up on the bearings here. I want to stay on the cone center.
Now, will you also tape your bearing section to the quill? Because I had that pull out once.
Oh, did you? Normally I don't. I don't have much trouble with that. It's just making sure that I'm
pressure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I probably applied a little too much outward tension on it, but
yeah,
just a thought.
You could, tape here if you wanted to. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, if I was going to do that, I think I'd get something more than masking tape, something like duct tape or Gorilla tape. Okay. Not putting a lot of outward pressure. There we go.
Just enough to straighten the wrinkles on the tape, right, Doug?
Pretty much, it just pulls the fibers out. So instead of them being loose where they can go to bending, they're got pressure on them. Here's something I can show you to give you an idea. Get that where you can see it. That's a nylon straw out of my broom. If I put pressure in, it bends. But if I pull out, it actually straightens it up where I can put a good bit of pressure on there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've shared that with some folks and they just can't, it just doesn't compute. And I understand it's a different concept. Okay. This is so weird. I'm in a basement shop and first time I can ever remember it being warm down here. In fact, I'm going to get my spindle roughing gouge back out. We're still good for that. Just to get some meat off of here. And to our other thought, spindle roughing gouge, not to be confused with a bowl roughing gouge. I watched some videos of some guys using this tool on a bowl blank. I was holding my breath the entire time. It can be done. I know a lot of people do it. A lot of name turners do it. But I've also seen a lot of them get bent and broken and people get hurt using a spindle roughing gouge improperly on a bowl blank. In fact, we've had one or two in this group that had issues with them getting broke or bent. Okay, I'm gonna take just
Yeah,
half a
I'm
second.
trying to recall who that was. It'll
Yeah,
come to me possibly.
it's been a long
Been a
time.
few years.
Yeah. And we all, as soon as we saw it, we all knew exactly what the problem was. But it happens when people are not told the difference, then it happens.
You've got a nice shape going right there. You could leave it with that shaped stem.
Could. If I was doing a chalice, that would be great. Amazing what a little bit of sharpening will do. Back to my spindle, half-inch spindle gouge. Sitting there crowding myself instead of switching hands. On a lot of the pieces we turn, we like to go away from the headstock all the time, which is fine, and that's necessary a lot of times, especially for a newer turner who is not accustomed to that chuck and the boundaries of it. But I'll be doing both tonight. I'll go away from the headstock to get the bulk down, but then when it comes to the fine cuts, I like to come back toward the headstock so that I leave the weakest part behind out toward the tailstock.
Turn the final shape and then don't touch.
Yeah, yeah.
Do about an inch at a time, no more than that.
Yeah, thereabouts. Again, you know, we have the quote unquote rules that don't always apply. But yes, you're right, Dane. Typically, when you're going super thin like this, well, I'm not anywhere close to super thin yet. But yeah, you go about an inch, inch and a quarter, and then you stop, and you do something different. Finish up and do your sanding, those kinds of things. And you don't come back. Like that cup, I will not go back to. I'm sanded down to this point right here, so I don't need to go back to it. I will sand from that point to this point right now. But there's also another issue. When you start getting thin, you don't want the torque of your motor to be twisting on the stem. I can't tell you how many stems I snapped off first couple of times trying to do thin. Because I would turn it off to see how I was doing, to put calipers on it and measure it and those kinds of things. Then somebody finally said, "Why are you turning it off? That's your problem." Or they would say, you can turn it off, but you got to turn your speed all the way down. Well, at the time, my speed control was change the belts. So there's no turning up and down. There we go.
What's your diameter at there, Doug?
Good question.
Inquiring minds are asking.
Right now I am at, I need to sand just a hair more. I'm at 330 seconds. If I sand just a little more, but if you hadn't asked, I wouldn't have bothered.
Yeah.
I'd have left it at that. But
So you're
now that I
you're working
measured,
on 1/16.
that's in my head.
Okay.
It's in my head. Now we're probably not down to it, but we're close enough. It feels awful good already. Again, just going up to
And if,
220.
then if you measure again, Doug, please turn it off. I'd hate for his calipers to catch it and break it.
Problem is, well, yeah, I can turn it down. You know, I used to get real worried about breaking stuff. The fun thing about wood is it grows on trees.
Mm-hmm.
I do hate to waste that time, but even in Texas and Arizona, wood still grows on trees.
Well, if you want sometime, Doug, I'll prove to you that money does too.
I have proven that, Ruby, already to myself. The only problem is I can't get it to grow fast enough. I could triple my turning income every month. I could go ahead and retire. All right, one more time. Then we're going to do something different here. We're not going to keep going just straight the whole time. Just like with this detail piece up here, I don't know. It may be the group that I was hanging out with when I first started, but the whole idea of leaving just straight lines just doesn't work in my head for some reason. Even this much of a straight line kind of bothers me, but I know I've got a plan. There's going to be a detail in here and then about that much more stem, and then we'll put a bottom on it and replicate this. We're not going to not replicate it, something similar to that on the bottom. Just to give it interest. Then when it's sitting on the bookshelf or the coffee table and someone comes in, they see that, they're going to say, hey, it's kind of like what the finial discussion a while ago. We got to have something that draws our eye along the piece.
Yeah, the word you're looking for is called complementary.
There you go.
Complementary detail.
Yeah. Try to get a concave shape in there. I've got to get rid of some of this. And I can be kind of rough back here because I've got all this bulk that helps me out, keeps me from, it can absorb the pressure and the vibration where this stem cannot, it can't take it. One of the things that may not have caught your attention was that every time I change directions, my flute changes directions as well. That's because I need that bevel to keep riding, or floating, as the word might suit your thought pattern better. This wood did have some cracks in it. Like I said, I filled some of them with the Resin-Crete. I filled some others with shavings and medium CA. So we're liable to run into some cracks interiorly. I hope not in the stem. One of the things I had to learn was that sometimes pushing hard and trying to go fast does not make you go faster. It actually slows you down if it doesn't ruin the piece.
Yeah. A lot of times it'll make you rechuck a piece of wood.
Yep.
It's not a race.
Not at all. I don't know if I said or not. I think this is a piece of pear. It was a crotch piece. They had two branches sticking out. This was the longer one. I actually got both blanks, the one I practiced on earlier and this one too. One of my problems is I'm too, there we go. This was the long one, and as I was starting to prep it to get it ready, I realized it had a crack running almost the entire length. But it wasn't one continual crack. It was like a series of cracks. So it would run for 3 or 4 inches, and then it would quit. Then it would start up again in another spot, just down from it. And again, I don't want to put too much pressure as I'm sanding because you can't see that, but that is vibrating right there. Wood is starting to move.
Hey Doug, do you also apply counter pressure when you're sanding?
Sometimes, right now, I'm just barely touching it, Matt. Just enough for the sandpaper to work. But yeah, sometimes just to put a finger on top. If I
Thanks,
found
Doug.
something up, if I found something up here I just had to sand, I would definitely. In fact, I do see something right at this transition point right here. There we go. That's enough of that. Matt, I did not understand that concept for the longest time, and so it took me a while. I had to learn it the hard way.
Oh no. By
Yeah.
breaking stems. Okay.
Yeah, my finger broke a piece or two. The sandpaper didn't break it, my finger did. Trying to do the counter pressure thing. I sort of understand it now. There's a lot of things in turning that we just have to learn. And for me, that was one that was kind of a tough lesson. Let's see, normally I would turn my lathe off to move this tool rest. And if I did, I would have to run the speed control all the way down and then shut it off, and then I could come back and reset again. It kind of bothers me to not shut the lathe off as I'm moving it. It's just one of those safety things. You get used to it, and you really don't like it when you can't do it the right way. Mark's over there in his little easy chair fussing at me right now. Yeah. I want to get this little curve right here real nice and smooth, and I want it concave just a touch, and then roll over into the stem as well as into the foot here. There we go. Then this one can be nice and concave up into that. I'm going to change tools. This is a, no, that's not it. Here we go. This is a 3/8 detail gouge. I'm using it because it will get down into this corner just a little bit easier. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Allows me to get that joint to be just the way I like it. Okay. Now I can come back to my spindle gouge. I need to make a little bit of a decision about the diameter of the foot here. Still looks just a little big. Okay, now I can come back, get this curve right. And then I want to curve the bottom of this foot just a hair. Doesn't have to be a big, deep curve. I'm gonna go over to my, may come back to that spindle gouge, but I'm gonna use my parting tool. And I am gonna undercut this foot just a bit. Some of that Martin talked to us last week about, basically having two lines that you're cutting with your parting tool. So it comes out a bit cleaner. Just before it snaps off, let's come back and do a little sanding. Then we can finish this up. Somebody asked me just recently why I was using my wave edge sanding paper to sand by hand instead of either on the drill or inertia sander, and it's a real simple answer. That's all the sandpaper I've got. I don't have a whole lot of different kinds of sandpaper. 90% of my sanding is done either with the inertia sander or the drill. And so that's what I need, is the Velcro back. And it works fine. I think that crack is in the edge of that just a little bit. I've got a good 1/8 of an inch still holding all this together. I'm still not putting a ton of pressure on, but I can put a lot more pressure on this foot than I could up here if I needed to go back, but I'm not going to go back. So little 220. I will have to sand the very bottom of the base off the lathe. All right, go over here and get my ultra thin parting tool. not the kitchen knife, but the Sawzall blade. And it's dull, apparently. So we'll go back to the kitchen knife. All right. Because I've got tension instead of pressure. Here's the end. Oh, it's stuck to my hand.
No.
Well, let's get it
Can't
off
pull
of
your
here.
finger out.
No, exactly. Exactly. I'm stuck.
You're getting a little too attached to that piece, Doug.
That's it. That's it.
Somebody call his wife. We got an emergency situation.
I hope she's upstairs. Dun dun dun.
Now that you got it off the lathe without breaking it, we can breathe again.
Sure. I hope you can. I hope you've been breathing.
No stress on that. Come on now.
No stress on you all at all. It's all on me.
Right?
I thought
It's always stress on the demonstrator, and it's not stress on anyone else.
There we go.
It's like watching NASCAR, you know?
My God.
Keep it right in front of me so you can see it.
Well done.
Fantastic,
Hold it up a
Doug.
little bit.
Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Now that it's off,
Great
and
job,
it's
Doug.
still showing 3:30 seconds, Dane.
Right on. Oh, that wasn't for me. That was for somebody else that was asking.
Whoever was
That's
asking.
just fine.
I could gauge it from my eye on the thickness. That's why I said you were shooting for a 16.
Right. And by eye, I would have claimed that it's his 16th, but it's just over. 130
Yeah.
seconds, not very much.
No, that's not much. So it's all good. It's all
So
good.
anyway,
It just depends upon the measurement tool.
You're
It
inside.
was a white knuckle ride.
I still have that little nub to sand off, but I'll put my sanding mandrel in the lathe, and I'll do that off lathe and be good.
And how deep is that goblet?
I'm sorry?
How deep is the goblet?
Just over an inch, I think. Or maybe right at an inch, maybe. 30 seconds. When you have digital calipers, you can get down pretty fine.
Right.
But anyway,
That's nice.
That's
it.
very nice, Doug.
Very enjoyable evening, Doug. Really. Very enjoyable.
Hopefully, can y'all see that
Yeah,
detail?
hey Doug.
Yeah.
Try holding it sideways and against your black smock. There you go.
There. Yeah.
You can hopefully you can see that this is a little bit of a curve, a convex curve going down and in. Again, just to give it a little interest, and when it sits on the table, gives it a little shadow line.
Yeah, it's great shape all around. Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, good job, Doug.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So what kind of finish you going to put on it?
I'm going to use feed and wax. I'm just going to wipe some feed and wax on it.
There you go.
Normally, like I said earlier, I would normally do the abrasive paste and wax as I went, but demonstration purposes, that would mean, there's 10, 20, 30, it's a better part of an hour just to do that
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this.
that's a lot of,
Just because of the different segments of it. Oh, I put the tape measure back over there. Oh, I've got this one. I forget that. What did I end up at? I've got 7.5 inches in total height and 1.5 inches diameter at the cup, 1.75 inches at the base. So just a little wider at the base. But I did that to my eye, from that distance. So
Nice job, Doug.
Believe me, it was a white knuckle ride all night.
Thank
Yes,
you,
it
Al.
was.
It was
It's
a
fun.
white knuckle ride, believe me.
A lot of fun.
you guys got to get out in the shop and you got to get out in the shop and try one.
Yeah,
I try and
absolutely.
turn the spindle much less than 1/4 of an inch, and it's gonna break.
Take a little tension or a little pressure off of it and a lighter touch, and you'll do it.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what,
I'm gonna have to waste a lot of wood.
You could
Got
probably
all
tell
kinds.
this was not my first rodeo on this one. I've done a few, and I've done them taller and thinner. I've done them all the way down to a 16th that were almost 12 inches tall. So
Yeah, folks do tumblers, 4 foot long. It's crazy.
yeah, I wish I had a bed that long so I could do one.
Yeah. All right. Very well done, Doug. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Coming into your
Appreciate
shop
y'all.
and watching what you had to do. All right, folks. Does anybody else have any questions that I may have missed in the chat that we need to ask or get clarified?
no, my,
Yes, Dane. Can you show that
Go ahead,
gouge?
Al.
Can you show that gouge, Doug?
Absolutely.
Show your spindle gouge. Okay.
I will, as soon as I find a place to sit this down.
Thanks a lot,
I
Dane.
want it to go fall.
Yeah, you're welcome, Al.
Okay, spindle gouge. After Mark's last big demonstration talking specifically about this gouge, I went and bought one. In fact, I got on the internet that night and ordered it. It's a 1/2 inch spindle gouge, a Wood River. So this is the brand name of Woodcraft. Not a terribly long flute on it. So it's not going to have a super long life, but it's get so you can see the grind. So I don't know what the angles are. I didn't measure them. I grind it the same as I do my bowl gouge, and then I cut the heel away. And it's heavily ground away. I need to take it back a little further. I've sharpened it several times without grinding the heel back on it. But yeah, Mark gave me the inspiration to go ahead and do it, and I like it when it comes to doing spindle work. I love it. Did you see what you
Right
need
on.
to see?
yeah, it's gorgeous. That's
Al
the
did-
demonstration how
Al
little
did-
to happen. That's just
Hey,
gorgeous.
Doug.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Check out my long stem piece.
Where
Oh,
I got to show one.
hold on a minute.
While we're waiting, Larry was asking if that was dry wood you used or green.
Yes, it's dry. Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty long. That's
get
pretty
out.
long.
It is.
Yep, right on it. Here, Howard.
Like I said a while ago, I wish I had a bed that long so I could turn those long stems like that. That's fabulous.
Yeah,
Good job, Howie.
How thick is the stem on that one?
You're
Uh-huh.
muted, Howard.
Not hollow.
You're
You're
muted, Howard.
It looks to be about it.
There. You hear me now?
Yeah, got you
Yeah.
now.
What's the size of your stem?
About a quarter inch.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
It's
That's good.
dogwood. This
Pretty
is
big.
dogwood.
Okay.
This is dogwood. You can tell by the bark here on the edge.
Beautiful.
All right. Very good, Howard. Thank you.
Even after turning,
right.
I'm pretty sure mine is pear, and it's dry.
So it was dry pear,
Yes, dry pear. Yep.
not Blackwood like some folks were thinking.
No, it's not Blackwood. Not Blackwood.
No, there's a lot of questions on,
There's Blackwood.
repeatedly asking what type of wood it was, and I'm like, it's Blackwood.
No, I was thinking when I started it might be pear, and now that it's turned, I'm almost positive that's what it is. I would call it fogwood for sure. There's no question it's fogwood, but it's just what particular species I can't tell you right offhand. I think it's pear though.
Now, if you were going to take that to a store to sell, how are you going to get it there without breaking it?
Very carefully. I would
Put it
what
in
I
a
would
corner of a box.
I'd slip
corner
it
of a
around it.
box
You
or
you put it in a box with the popcorn.
Oh.
That's the best way to do it. You gently wrap it in tissue paper and put it in a box with popcorn, and it'll
Yeah.
ride to the store just fine.
what I have done as well. I've done those very things. I've also taken them out to the car and just lay them in the seat up against the back, and then put some other things kind of in front of it so it won't have any pressure, but it keeps it from rolling around just in case I have to brake, which I don't brake very much. Yeah, as Ed said, a paper towel tube, and that would work if it would fit in one. I'm thinking this bottom end won't quite fit in it, but it might be close.
I used to say scrap PVC in pieces of that, the 2¼ inch vacuum cleaner hose.
There you
Pipe.
go. There you go.
Really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, I need to go get some 4-inch vacuum line.
You take your Amazon bubble wrap package, you roll it around it, put a piece of tape, and you're done. God, folks, don't make it so difficult.
Yeah, it's not that difficult.
I mean, come on.
I've not going to the store or bringing back from the store. I've not broken anything. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
The only time you break them is when you set them up on top of your lathe and you're trying to work on your lathe and it vibrates off and hits the floor.
Well, and even
Right?
then, it's not broken. It's not broken. It's just bent.
Yeah, it's just bent. There you go.
At that weak spot.
And so what you ought to do is very carefully CA that. That way it's stabilized.
Yeah, I could do that.
Cross
Oh.
extra.
Sand the fuzzies off, and then tack on another 50%.
There you go.
Guess you could finish it with CA and it'd be less likely to break.
Yes, right. It's stiffen it up. Yeah,
How do
Steve's
you
right.
keep the customers from breaking it?
Oh, that's what insurance is for.
Or the kids or the wife or
Yeah, that's what insurance is for. Back when I was first starting, they were talking about taking things to flea markets and those kinds of things where it's easy to get a booth set up, and they were turning ultra thin, large bowls, 18, 20 inch, 24 inch bowls that were 1/8 of an inch or less. And people would come up and stick their thumb in the bowl, the fingers on the outside, and pick it up. The side comes out of it. And they don't want to pay for it then. Well, it's broke. I don't
same
want to pay
thing
for
with
that.
same thing with the lampshades. You have to be really careful about somebody picking them up.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Grab them from the sale or you picking them up.
There you go.
Making the lids so tight, they pulled the finials off.
Yes.
Hey, that's all right. Once it's in the store, it's the shop owner's responsibility. So that's just an automatic sale. If it gets
Yes
broken.
and no. Yes and no.
For me, it's a yes. Otherwise, I
Okay.
don't go in.
There
Yep.
you go. Yeah. Most of them here, it's still the vendor's responsibility. So we have to carry our own insurance
Yeah.
or run the risk.
Right. I hear you.
Or you could I guess you could put signs up, say you break it, you bought it.
Yeah, that don't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up. It keeps the honest people honest.
Right.
That's about as far as it goes.
Sounds good.
All right, does anybody else have any questions or comments? Was all the questions answered?
No, just a very enjoyable evening, Doug, for sure. Very
Thanks, Al.
enjoyable.
Thank you, Al.
I always
Hey,
enjoy
we-
all of Doug's demos.
Thanks.
One comment,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
uh,
go ahead.
I would make that and that label it as a multi-axis goblet.
Oh, the other one? Yeah. Yeah, if I got it stiff enough to stand up, yeah, that would pass as a multi-axis real easy.
Uh-huh. Except for your personal integrity.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, it would pass. I didn't say I would call it that.
Right. There are some that would.
Yes. Right now,
I know
it
you.
won't.
I know you wouldn't. I know I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I know many others
can't-
would.
I cannot stand that up right now. It won't stand on its own. At the top will fall on over and break off.
Right.
On this one, on the other hand, it will wobble, but it's not. I kept it nice and even. That's what you're watching. You're letting your bevel help you keep it nice and even, straight up and down on the sides. Where that one, I had a momentary lapse, and I let my edge dig right into the side of the stem. That's what caused that weak spot. So, there we go.
Very nice.
All right.
Did have
Well,
a turning
let's-
I was going to show you, but it's not completed. I'll show that to you next week after it's completed.
That's
Oh, why don't you
yesterday's
go ahead and
hollow
go
form,
ahead
right?
and go ahead and show us the hollow forming process.
Well, we can do that. It's right here. This was what I did yesterday, and came out okay. Just a nice, about a 6-inch hollow form cherry. Nice little knot right there, and bit of a inclusion on that side. But this is going to be similar to what Dane was showing us a while ago. It's going to have like a beauty cap here, and then a finial above that. So
Nice.
that's as far as I got with it. But I'm
Yeah.
saving the beauty cap and everything else, taking the tenon off the bottom for next week.
Was you going to finish hollowing the inside?
The inside's finished.
You got it all finished now?
Yeah, everything. I do need to put it on and take the nub out of the center, but other than that, it's done. Yeah, it's done.
Right on. Well, we look forward to seeing it next week or
Yeah,
the week after, whenever you get it done.
it
So,
should be done next week.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. The
All
finial's
right,
already
let's,
turned, so.
If there's no other questions or comments that need to be cleared up, all the tooling was answered, I think. Comments about the wood was done. Technique was shown and explained. If anybody else has any questions or comments, otherwise let's go back to Captain Eddie and get his thoughts on the demo he just saw. Captain Eddie.
That's what we got to do right now. Right now. You saw it,
Wood
folks.
turners, supporting wood turners.
That was world class. I mean, really. I was sitting here staring at him making those cuts on those two thin sections of finial, thinking any moment now we're going to see a worldwide wood turners explosion and recovery, and he didn't do it. We managed to pull it off, to make those fine cuts that we talk about, to make those details. That's the amazing part. Sat here in complete amazement. Doug, that was an awesome demonstration.
Thank you,
Folks,
sir.
I mean, that really is it. And you got it right here. And if you missed any part of it, in a day or two, our webmaster is going to have this whole video back on our website. You can go and watch it again and again and again. And you learn how to use that tool that he showed, the Mark Soleil grind. A history. I went to a workshop. I paid for a workshop, and Mark Soleil was teaching it. It was a long time ago at Johnny Green's shop in Franklinton, Louisiana. And Mark was going to sharpen up everybody's gouge. I didn't want Mark to do that to my gouge. I was very happy with what I was using, but I got busy with somebody and missed it. Then he picked mine up and took it over to sharpen it. A little while later on, I picked it up and said, what the hell did you do to my tool? Crazy old bird, don't do that to somebody's tool. And he says, why don't you work with it a little bit and see how you like it? Then I had to go apologize to the guy because what he did was take away all that meat I didn't need and leave me with a cut that cut like a lady's fingernail and just made these sweet little passes with not a lot of bevel and not a lot of burden, and took some gorgeous cuts and took all the pressure off the wood, but gave me the edge cutting the way I wanted to. He taught us, and Mark has shown how to do that. It's beauty. It's easy. And you see, folks, World War Wood Turners, we do these demonstrations, we show you those secrets. It's not a secret. It's a technique or a trick. And thanks to Doug and folks like that, we do that each week. This was a fantastic demonstration. Fantastic. Really loved it. I want to see more like that. Now he's going to get into this hollow form, and now he's got a goal. You heard we started off with just like what Dane did. Dane's piece showed us in the beginning, or one of the early pieces in the gallery tonight, was a piece he turned. It's featured on our Facebook page right now, and it will be on our calendars. I mean, on our on our newsletter. I'll get there. I knew it had a letter in it.
Going through the alphabet.
Yeah. But he says, so he's got a goal, and he's right. He's playing it by, he's got a base piece, but he's got some proportions. And now he's going to start with color and offsets, etc. And then he's going to add a finial. And he knows to keep his pi ratio and his proportions into his finials and his stroke. Because you can't just stick two pieces of wood together and hope they work out. That's a dumb idea. But here we try to work with it. It's one of these things you plot it out. The best way in the world to plot any of this stuff out, and it might seem silly, get a piece of graph paper. Yeah, plain old 1/4-inch square graph paper, put it down and push a piece of stock on it, draw it out, and then draw out your cap and your receiver. You don't have to go 3D with it, and then put your finial in it and put it all in proportion right there where your eyes can see it. On the lathe, you're going to get confused with everything that's happening around it, how it lays and all. But take it out of that so you can play with it and get the change the shapes and the light and how it looks and plot it out a little bit. It's a simple task. When you say, I want to see how it starts shaping up on a lathe, that's a good idea. But first, have it in your mind before you take your mind to the lathe. It's like we told you, and we've always told you in our safety programs, is before you get started, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. It's plan. Think about it. Look at it. Strategize. And then say, okay, now I've got a plan. How do you build a building? You put a stake in the ground. You don't put a building in the ground, you put a stake in the ground. That's what we're talking about. Put a stake in the ground, plot it out. That piece was beautiful tonight. We'll do more like that. We're going to show you some gallery. We got some tips and tricks and all. And this is open to you. What is this? Your wood turning club, Worldwide Wood Turners. And we're going to go, I guess, gallery right now.
Man, who we got up?
Yeah, next up is Todd.
Todd.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, some dialog box popped up in my screen, even though I'd already unmuted myself, so I didn't know what happened. So I did some tool demos over the weekend, showing a beading tool, and how you might want to, how you could use one on the bottom of a little bowl or something. And so that's just a little beading tool demo there on the rim and the foot of a little walnut bowl. And then I did another one that was a little closed, more of a closed form at the top, so I could show undercutting with a tool a little bit. And then last week in Dallas at the Dallas area wood turners, the demonstrator did a little scoop, and so I wanted to do a scoop. So yesterday morning I did a little scoop out there on the it's pretty wood, but I'm not sure what wood it was. It was in a box of stuff I bought when I was with Scott Hampton down there, and at SWAT last year, and I don't remember what it was.
Pretty
But
wood.
Pallet wood. Scott does that a lot. He spawns people up by that pallet wood.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well, I'll tell you what, you made that wood look good.
so well,
That's a piece of mulberry, my friend.
That's what
Okay.
I was getting ready to say.
all right, awesome. Now, a lesson learned on this. My thickness here is pretty consistent, even though when you look at the top of it, it might not look like it. And I think when I sanded this top on it, I could have went down another 1/16 of an inch or so and got rid of some of the curve on the top of that, and the profile from the top would look more consistent. And so I'll probably go out there and pop that with the sander, because I didn't cut that with a bandsaw. I just put it on a disc sander and sanded it flat. And so I'll just tap it a little bit again and take just a little bit more off of that little
good
top.
idea.
If the cut's more in the middle of the piece, then your cross section won't be quite as wide also.
Okay.
Does
Yeah.
it make sense? So
Yeah, that
so
makes
instead
sense.
like you're in the top quarter with your cut, but if your cut was a little deeper, then it'll give you a more decent cross section of the wall.
Exactly, and that's sort of what I'm saying, is I can take that down a little bit and
Gotcha.
maybe flatten it a little bit instead of that angle that's on there, and then it'll get rid of some of that cross section, right? I mean, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, and if you
So-
look at Raffin's videos, this is one of his basic projects. He's got a pretty good, you can see where he cuts it, and so that's a good touchstone too.
Yeah.
Richard Raffin.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll look at his to do that, but
That still looks great. Still looks great.
you know, fun little project. And then let's see, a couple weeks ago, I did this bowl. I think this is Bradford pear. So one of my friends had given me this log, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago. So it's been in my garage for 8 or 10 years. I finally put it on the lathe and turned it. And then the outside of it is, when I started doing the outside of it, I was not doing Dane's tung oil finish. And then I decided I wanted to play with the tung oil. So this has like 4 or 5, 6 coats of tung oil on the outside of it.
Looks good.
But it is not what Dane's is, let me tell you. And I'll tell you, I didn't follow his guidelines because I decided to do it a little late, and I was already past the sanding sealer point of this boiled linseed oil. But that was a fun bowl to do.
It looks nice. Looks nice. Todd.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah. So
very nice.
I'm very happy with it. I'm just shocked to death at how the tung oil finishes. And then the last thing I was doing there is I have this pedestal bowl that I'm working on, where the pedestal is walnut, maple, and walnut, maple, and then walnut with the maple in the middle dyed the same basic way that the bowl was dyed. So it's not glued in there yet. I'm not sure I'm happy with that pedestal, but
That's
but
cool.
that bowl right there is what I'm sort of trying to finish up right now.
Very
Get that
cool.
pedestal just right.
The
So
bowl
I-
itself is maple too?
But
the bowl is maple, and then the middle part of the pedestal is maple. I left mine at.
that color blend that you did, that's very pretty.
Oh, thank
Love
you.
the color.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
I know.
Hampshire
The
sheen.
way you blended it, that's very, very, very pretty.
Yeah, thank you very much. Those are Hampshire sheen intrinsic dyes in both places. And then I know you guys are probably wondering, because this looks really thin, but I left this a 32nd of an inch thicker than Doug's. So, so yeah.
Just so you got something to hold on to, right, Todd?
Well, yeah. I mean, once I glue it on there, I might put it back between centers and take it down a little,
Yeah, that'll make a good soup cup.
There
Just
you
sit back
go.
in the recliner.
Yeah.
Great
So,
job. Great job.
yeah, a lot of
Great
fun.
job, Todd.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Very nice
Matt,
work,
who-
Todd. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, next up is Ruby and her money tree.
Yeah, nobody tells me anymore that money doesn't
You
grow on trees.
mean peeper?
I can prove that money grows on trees. There's one right there.
There's a blast from the past.
Excellent.
I'm going to move to Canada. That's all.
That's always a great gift.
Yes, they make excellent gifts.
That's a great gift all the time.
Now, do you got Monopoly money on there or dollars?
Heck no, those are real dollars.
It's from up north though, so
it looks multicolored to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's from up north.
we color our money. We're not colorblind.
Canadian money looks like play money.
Hey, it spends quite nicely.
Yes, it
I'll
does.
bet it
Sure.
does.
Yeah.
Whoever gets that is going to have a blast.
Nice folding too.
Yeah, Leonard wants to know when he's going to get his tree.
I'm working on it.
Uh-huh.
And
There
can
you
you
go,
tell
write it
by
down
my
on your
hair
calendar.
that it's a little humid up here?
Well, God, you want to see what my hair looks like?
No.
Mine too.
Man, oh man, it is so. We got 52% humidity here, and it's 104 right now, and it's 6
Holy
p.m.
moly. Wow.
It is sticky.
Yes.
Ugh.
I don't know. It was so soupy here, Ruby. Probably just like you.
I'm
But when
here in Frederick, Maryland, 50 miles west of the Chesapeake Bay. It was 97 here, and it was like 100 humidity.
We've
So
had
it was
that
raining.
for about 2 weeks, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's been,
almost 9 days here so far. 9 days.
I looked at noon and it was 87% humidity, Ruby, and I'm sure that yours is near the same. So it was soupy today, that's for sure.
Well, when
Ours is too, and it's still and now it's still raining.
Well, when you see little curls like that, you know for sure it's really humid.
I feel for you women and dealing with your hair. It's gotta be hard.
If I see girls like that 35 years ago.
I like the money tree.
35 years ago, I had a head of hair that makes Shirley Temple wish she had curls.
You still have a head of hair. Makes her feel like she has curls.
Yeah, 30 years ago, I had hair
nobody
that would
can
make
tell
Patrick
you now
Swayze want
that
it
money
back.
doesn't grow on trees.
Very nice money tree, Ruby. I love it. Next
All
up
right,
is Howard.
Hit that
Hey,
mute
hey.
button. All right, we got you.
Hey, how about
Roll
that?
Tide. Roll Tide.
I need to take that off, don't I?
You're good.
All right.
Roll Tide.
Made
Roll Tide.
a redneck bottle opener. And it
What'd
works
you make,
great.
Howard? What is it?
It's a redneck bottle opener.
Oh yeah, I should have known that.
No, wait, slow. Okay, slow down. Okay,
A redneck.
Redneck
bottle
opener.
opener.
Let me type that out for you, Al, and I'll type real
slow
slow.
down the right hand.
That's so funny.
Oh, a redneck bottle opener.
Right hand.
You gotta add the word.
Anyway, you just hook that on there and pop that cap off.
You gotta demonstrate.
I don't know.
So what size nail is it?
16 penny.
I guess 16 penny. Yeah, 16.
Okay.
16 penny.
Galvanized? Is it galvanized?
No, I just pulled it out of the box and nailed it in there and bent it over and grind off that part, and there you go.
Yeah, you can just pull one out of your rafters of your house.
No, better not do that. Better not do that. But
They're
it works
only half
great.
in anyhow. They're only half in anyhow.
It works great. And so, anyway, there's the bottom of it. There's the top.
And you made it out of Spectre ply?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So,
Did you do it between centers? Did you do it between centers?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Well done.
All right.
Thank you, Howard. Who we got next, Matt?
That's all on my list, unless somebody else has got something.
Oh, no.
I can
What
show
we have on the
something.
list?
I can show something.
Mr. Duxbury,
Gotcha.
we got you.
I'm here.
go.
I showed this once before, but they got refined the texturing. It's burned. A piece of ash. Turned on a duck's chuck. It's about a 1/4 inch offset.
Very nice.
And this is another one similar. This is a piece of maple. This is the cup burr with a, what do you call it? The dibble, the little paint dropper. Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Anyway.
Looks good, Jim.
Beautiful.
Your finish again is just great.
It's lacquered. There's about 4 or 5 coats of lacquer on it, but
So in between each coat, what just a 3M that you rub around or what?
yeah, I think it's about 400 grit. It's a sponge with the abrasive on it.
What color? What color?
Yellow.
Okay.
I think it's Flingsport, yellow.
Scotch-Brite?
Not a Scotch-Brite. Flingsport makes it. It's about a 1/4 inch thick pad with the abrasive on one side.
Mm.
I love that stuff. I've got another one that's about 400 or so, 500 or something. But the other one, the yellow one, works better. Anyway.
So you rub it with that, you wipe it off, and then you go and put. Would you just say again?
With lacquer, you don't wipe it off. With lacquer,
you don't wipe it off. Okay.
no, the lacquer dissolves itself and helps fill in, makes a heavier coat. So I don't even wipe it off. I just sand it and hit it again.
Okay. All right.
Lacquer dissolves the coats below it. So the first 3 coats you put on, you just dust them on to get a coating, and then put it in the right light and shoot it kind of heavy. And as soon as it goes wet, get off it, keep going, and that dissolves the coat.
Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
That's it.
Did I answer your question now?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a question. Yeah, I can hear you, Jim. There is a question in the chat. Somebody's wanting to know if you're demonstrating your duck's chuck at SWAT.
Yes, I am. I've got all kinds of stuff to show. I've got about 4 hours of demonstration to do in an hour and a half. But anyway, yeah. Looking forward to it.
I bet a lot of people are looking forward to it.
We'll have some fun.
Right. All right, let's go to Randy Smith. He's got a tip for us. Hey, Randy.
Yep. Was mentioned earlier about using CA as to applicate with what applicator to use, and this is what I use. This is a craft foam. It goes by several different trade names: fun foam, craft foam. Almost any art or hobby store will have this stuff. This sheet is, I think, 11 by 17. I use white ones just because this is a closed cell foam. The advantage of it when using it to apply CA or any of those types of finishes is that it does not soak up the CA. It stays on the surface. It does not come through the CA, so you don't glue your fingers to anything in the area. And you get these for about $1 a sheet. I use CA for all my pens. So this is great stuff. I cut it into strips and then I use it to apply super glue. When I glue in the end of a piece of a strip, I just tear it off and start again. So that's it.
Thank you, Randy.
Good info, Randy.
And we do have some more folks for gallery. So we're going to go to
Awesome.
Leonard Davis and see what he has to show us.
Oh, he's got an active background.
Yeah, it's my wife keeps coming
Yay.
in and out. Hopefully this shows up. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to spend on it, but I tried something a little bit different. It's a little.
Hold it up.
I believe it's part of a maple tree. That had come down. But you can see right here, the pith actually goes right through there. So it wasn't very thick when I started.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
Isn't that a lot of fun to turn that? I love turning those.
This is the first one I've tried, so it was
You're
fun.
gonna
but
love it. You're gonna love it.
challenging.
You're gonna get hooked on it.
So Leonard,
yep.
I have a question for you. So on the base, how did you come at determining that where your base was going to be at, where you stopped at turning down the outside wing profile?
So I actually didn't have much left down here. I only had maybe about 1/4 of an inch left underneath it. So
okay,
just enough so that I could get in there. And again, it was just kind of trial and error. Wasn't really sure what I was doing, but
yeah,
just trying to get in there. And I still haven't finished the bottom. Don't really have a finish on it. But it sits here on my desk so far.
there you go. Yeah, natural edges and live edges are fun to do.
Yeah, well,
small branches are great learning pieces also.
I was trying to keep the bark on, but I just kept breaking off. So I just decided I was going to break it off. But it stayed dark around the edges. So,
yeah,
which I liked.
So my trick, whenever I do a natural edge, come on now, hold on a minute. So my trick for keeping the bark on natural edges, after I get the outside profile, then all around that whole side, I saturate with thin CA. And then once I flip it around, and then when I set my wall thickness and get down below that cambium layer, I will in turn on the inside go around and saturate. And then I'll do a real light cut just to shave, because I am soaking it. So there's going to be ridges of CA formed right there. And then just do a real light cut, and that'll save your bark.
All right. I'll have to give that a try.
And then should your bark come off, what most of us will do is we'll take a torch to it and just go ahead and darken, just blacken that edge to make everything all nice and consistent.
All right.
With everything that Dane said, you're going to make maybe 20 more of those.
Yes.
They're fun. Time is the hard part.
I'll bet you make 20 more of those.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Leonard.
Next up is Dale, who's not really there. All right. Hey, Dale, you there?
Yeah, you got the wrong thing. I've got both my cell phone going and my computer. So go to my computer and you'll find me in Horseheads.
Is it listed as computer?
It's just listed as Dale and Horseheads, so you should see it. I'm seeing it.
All right, we got you.
Oh.
Go ahead, Dale.
Okay. You see me now? Okay, there you got me. This is a piece I was trying to show you last week. Piece of walnut. Tried to make a hollow form out of it, but found I didn't have the proper tools to hollow it out properly. And I'm not happy with it because I couldn't get rid of the tear out on the inside. It's got a branch pith in it, and I don't know if that's causing the tear out or what, but I can't get rid of the tear out on the inside. So I'm not real happy with it. Any suggestions I'll take?
I use sanding sealer. If I've got some tear out that doesn't seem to be coming, I'll use sanding sealer and, 2 coats, wait for it to cure, and then come back with very light shearing cuts. You got to get a shearing cut in there. I don't know what tools you're using, of course, but you want to be shearing.
Just old gouts, because I've tried using a scraper, and the scraper just seems to make the tear out worse.
If you use one of the Easy Wood tools and you turn it slightly on about a 45-degree angle and you're cutting in the proper direction, then you can get a nice clean cut on that inside edge.
Yeah, I've got to get the only Easy Wood tool I have is a finisher, and I'm going to have to send it back to Easy Wood Tools because the screw that holds the cutter in the head's gotten damaged and I can't get it out. And they suggested that I call their customer service and make arrangements to send it back to them, and they'll fix it for me. And I just haven't been able to get around to doing that. That's one of those things I just haven't gotten around to.
Well, I hope you figure it out, John. Next up is we've got John, who says he's got a CA tip.
I just wanted to show you, when you get as old as I am, you go to the doctor a lot. And every time I go, I ask them for the tourniquet that they use on me to get a blood sample. And I just cut a piece off of it and put the CA glue on my piece with this. Of course, you have to have plastic gloves on, or you're going to mess up big time with CA anyway. But this is all you need, and they're cheap. They give them to you. That's it.
Good idea, John.
Thanks, John. That's all I got on my list, Dane. So back over to you. Except I don't know if he's there or not.
No, he said he's somewhere with Safety Sue.
Can I ask a question?
Only if you put your video camera on, Al.
Yes, I have. Okay. I was watching Doug's video yesterday, and we were talking about going in reverse, and we were talking about the grub screw. Now, I'm sure that this lathe, I've only had this lathe about a year, and I have these really one-way chucks. Now, when you say a grub screw, what are we talking about? This one screw that is right here?
Yep, that's the one.
No.
That's the one that holds it on, onto the spindle.
See, now I'm looking at the whole thing itself, and I thought all this time that this had threads, and it does not have threads. So it looks like an adapter. Do you have it looks, because it's a different color.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like you got an adapter for your chuck, which would be like normal, like everybody else has got. And then
I don't know.
There's one set. There's a set screw there that keeps your adapter connected to your chuck, which is probably the one that comes through the, and then you've got one that goes from the adapter, which is the inside sleeve, if you will, to the spindle on your lathe.
Would I be able to show something right now? Can you tell me where to look or what?
Well, I'm sure that Ruby is exactly right. I'm sure the one that you were pointing to is the one that screws into your spindle.
Yes.
You'll be able to see it on the inside. So if you look on the inside of the black piece on the bottom of your chuck, see where it comes out?
Right. Right.
You got a
inside
hole
there.
right there? Got a hole
Yes.
right there? Then that's
Right.
the one that goes to your spindle.
Okay, so the way it is right now, it's okay to go and go in reverse? Or
Well,
do I
your
have to
issue
go
with
and
going
tighten
in,
that down?
the issue with going in reverse is if your lathe, if your chuck is not secured to your lathe spindle, you run the risk of unscrewing your chuck if it's not
No,
when
no,
you go in
I thought
reverse.
no, I thought that was this is what my question is tonight. I'm sure the person I bought this from, it was all industrial and stuff like that. I just so is that the grub screw that is, wait a minute, not that side.
Yes, if it goes through that black ring on the bottom there, then
But
that's the one
what I'm
that's
saying
secure.
is that it's not coming out to grab anything.
Well, all right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It has to go through.
Gotta use
Well,
a hex key.
No, that's not an adapter. That's the base of the chuck. And the
Yeah.
screws are coming in from the side, from the end, and holding that to the chuck. It's not
Right.
on a separate piece. I've got the same chucks. It's not a
So I
separate
can-
piece, that black piece.
I can see a hole. I can see a hole on the other side. So the one you're pointing at, there's a hole that comes all the way through.
Oh,
See where
hell.
that grub
What's
screw
that?
is? Between the 4 screws. They come through.
Yeah. Wait, I'll find where it's at. I'm
I
sorry.
can
I'm
see
making
where it
that
comes
such a
through.
mess. Yeah, I mean, it comes through. But my question is, if I want to go in reverse, do I stop my whole thing and tighten that thing down more? I don't think so.
Do you tighten
Because,
it down
I mean,
now?
Pardon?
Do you tighten it down now?
I have never tightened it down. It's right where it's at when I bought it.
So it's the set screw. That set screw needs to be tightened to your lathe spindle before going into reverse to make sure that the chuck doesn't unscrew itself.
So, in other words, what you're saying is, before I go in reverse, get an Allen screw and run that down
Yeah.
tight, which they never show that on videos.
But that's how it works.
Doug, did you show that yesterday? Did you tighten it down?
I
Most
did not.
Most people who use the reverse tighten that down.
Yes.
And so it's always
the
tight.
spindle, on the spindle. Okay, you're going forward, and then you want to go in reverse. So you stop, you go and you tighten that down, and then
Yes.
you go reverse, and then when you're done, you take it back off again.
Yes.
I don't understand.
If you
I
leave the
just
chuck
thought-
on the, if you leave the Al, if you leave the chuck on the lathe all the time, then you tighten it down once. Okay?
Okay.
And it stays on the lathe. If you are taking the chuck off the lathe, then you have to loosen it.
Oh, okay, then that makes all the complete sense. Okay, so whenever I put it on, turn it down.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're going to go in reverse.
I just answered. You just answered. all
And
that.
Dal,
What?
one more thing. You need to unscrew it at least 3 turns.
Once I hit the
before you remove it, you have to unscrew it at least 3 turns. And if it doesn't want to come loose, if the chuck stalls and you can't turn it, stop and loosen it more.
All right. So at this point, what we're saying is, since it's not right now, I can screw it on, screw it off, screw it on, screw it off. Do not turn this in reverse.
You shouldn't. Right.
Okay, that's okay. Everything has been answered. I love Wednesday nights, Captain. Love Wednesday nights.
Can I interrupt?
Glad we could help out. Glad we could help out, Al.
I got a little bit to say
Every
about it too.
Wednesday night, Captain. Every Wednesday night.
Let me chat about it for just a minute. I went out and got a couple of my chucks. One thing with the grub screw, which is here. Okay, this fitting on a one-way chuck, this is a one-way talon. This is a one-way stronghold. They're both made the same way. This insert piece has got a slight taper. It goes in with the screws and hold it in there. It's all one piece. And these screws pull down to type it so it can't move. You put it on there, set the grub screw. The one thing about it, you don't always need it, but if you're turning a heavy piece of wood and you don't use it, you could very easily turn the lathe off at a high speed and spin this off of the lathe, because then it's going the other direction. That's why they suggest that you use the grub screw. And the grub screw can hold it because this is fastened securely to the chuck. It's not a screwed in piece, it's a taper fit. And you'll see it has extra holes in it. If you want to take it off to take the chuck apart, you take out the screws that are in here and you put them in the other holes. And they're threaded and they act as a jack screw to pull that tapered fit out of there. But that's basically how these chucks work. These are I've got 3 of these and they all work the same way. And you order it and you get this piece here, but it's not a screwed in piece. It's a tapered fit. And like I say, if you want to pull it, these holes hold it down. And these other holes, you take this screw out of here, put it in there, and this is threaded and it pushes up against the body and you pull it out. It acts as a jack screw. Take this out and change it. That's how you can take it apart and clean it. But the one thing to remember, if you're doing something heavy and you don't have the set screw in there, some of the lathes have pretty good brakes. And if you shut it off, it could unscrew itself. And always be mindful of that.
Didn't we have a safety? Didn't we have a safety moment a couple of months ago where we showed a video where that happened to a guy? I thought I saw that.
I believe so.
You may be right.
Say it again,
Yep.
Matt. Sorry.
We had a safety moment a few months ago where we showed that happening to somebody where he turned his lathe off and the chuck unscrewed and whacked him.
It could definitely happen. The bigger
I don't
the piece
recall.
and the heavier the piece, it could happen. But I hope that explains pretty much how that whole thing works.
Thank you, Terry.
Now,
Thank you.
if you have a speed control on your lathe, you should be
Me?
using that instead of hitting that hard on/off button.
No, that's correct. You should.
When you're working with your lathe, you should be using this speed controller to dial down your lathe to bring it down to 0 instead of hitting that on/off button. Because if you keep hitting that on/off button, that switch is going to fail because these things are made cheaply. And then if you're dialing it down slow, you're not going to have an issue with your heavy piece spinning off your lathe.
Well,
Correct.
I don't spin heavy pieces, but I don't want anything flying because of something that I didn't know and I didn't ask her.
Yeah. But sometimes when you're sanding, you like to turn it in reverse too.
I've never done it because
turn
Same.
it on the other side.
And I'll say the same case. I don't use that. I have never used that grub screw. I make sure that when I put it on, it makes it the chuck makes a nice solid connection, metal to metal. Now I would imagine if you're going in reverse and you're shoving your tool in there and you get a bad catch and you're in reverse, I could see where that would create a unraveling of the chuck coming off the spindle. But for me, the best precaution that I can recommend is to use that dial, spin that down instead of doing a hard stop and then having that propensity of the piece trying to turn off.
I very seldom use the set screw, and I think I have had it unscrew on me once. I don't think it came all the way off, but I think I was doing something in reverse, so I stopped, and I did have it unscrewed. It didn't come off. I think I had the tailstock up against it.
So Leonard,
but they do recommend that you use it.
When you're stepping away from the lathe, for any extended period of time, or you're calling it quits for the day, that's when you turn your lathe off and then unplug it. Unplug it from the wall. You should unplug all your equipment at the end of the day or when you're not using it.
The manufacturer does suggest using it, but most of us don't.
True. Yep, I hear you.
I just wanted to explain how the whole thing worked.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So that sure helped out.
Yeah.
My donut chuck's the worst thing in the world to unscrew on me.
So real quick, guys. So sorry I had to exit out of the meeting without sound. So I had messaged Sue earlier to check on her to see how she was doing. You know, 'cause she hasn't been in the group for the past few weeks, and so she just called me. And so she's doing well. She's got the sniffles. She's up in Rochester right now, Rochester, New York. Her sister had hip replacement surgery, so she's up there playing house nurse. She plans on being back on the meeting possibly next week. If not next week, then the following week. But she says hello to everybody, and she appreciates the concern for those that did reach out and for those that were thinking about her. So just want to let y'all know that. Captain Eddie, she did say hello and glad to see you were in tonight.
Thanks, Dane.
You bet, Matt. Always got to check on the peeps, you know.
Sure. Well, I don't have anybody else for gallery.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Do we have any other attorney questions or questions?
I was digging for a thin stem goblet, but I didn't find it. So.
Oh no! Well.
I don't know. Martin was early in the meeting. Martin was asking about people using branch wood for goblets, and I do that a lot. So I could show some of that. So
there's nothing wrong with branch wood.
No, that's what mine was.
You know, the main thing, you know, branch wood or anything that's end grain, you know, the big thing is when you set the orientation up, is you want to have the pith off center.
Yes.
Because the pith is going to be.
I would say that with certain woods, because some woods it doesn't matter. It's not important. I mean, you're right with walnut, because walnut, for instance, you don't want the pith in the stem because it'll compromise the stem.
Yeah. Walnut, gray ash, birch.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I do things like that where the bark is natural edge bark is there, and this is just out of a branch, you know, and that's how big the branch was, right? So, and you can see the pith is right smack dab in the middle, and this is silver maple.
Yeah,
it was a branch. So this is a great wood. Bradford pear is a perfect wood for making goblets with branch wood.
Right, but so the thought process on, you know, with the pith in the center is if you do a really thin one, like what Doug did, now you're going to have that pith exposed, and that pith does not have any rigidity to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what the wood is. You know, so if you have the pith off to the side of the stem, then the strength is going to be solid wood going down through when you're doing a thin turning. You know, even on finials, if you've got something that's real thin and you got that pith there, it's going to be, you know, somebody's going to touch it, and they're going to be like, you know, just touch it to feel it, and they're going to break it because the pith is straight down through the center. So, what else you got to show there on your goblets, man? I know you got a bunch of them.
I got a ton of them. Let me put myself back in here. So this is cherry, and it's not.
But it's, you know, it's good. It's good discussion on the orientation for end grain, you know, and along with the turning of it as well.
Yeah, this is, and the grain is along the wood this way. So, and it's super thin and it wobbles. But yeah, I don't even know. That's probably 3/32. So, but yeah, I like goblets in general because there are a lot of different, there's a lot of different things that you're turning a bowl. If you get thin here, that's pretty thin, And here I'm an 8 here.
Matt, it's also just a beautiful gift.
What is, and
It's a
people are
beautiful gift.
afraid to touch. People are afraid to touch them and stuff. And it's like, I mean, this is a reasonably solid piece of wood. I don't worry about using this. I mean, I don't use it, but it's, I have other ones. I don't use goblets in general, but it's perfectly usable, for drinking out of. Yes, it's fragile. Don't throw it on the floor, but you can, still use it regularly if you're careful, So I don't know. But I love making them because they're fun. There are a lot of different skills all wrapped up in a single piece, a single project. And a lot of times making a goblet is my warm-up piece in the shop in the morning, In answer to what your question is, Leonard, is I finish with Helmsman's Spar Urethane Clear. It's the same stuff that the guys who make make fittings for boats, that go in the water. That's what they put on their wood, the wood pieces that they make for boats. So it's really good for regular use and so on. So John McGee has some goblets to show. So let's go see what John has.
Here I am. I made several. This is a piece of persimmon, and it's got captured rings in it. This is another piece of persimmon with captured rings.
Those are great, John. I love them.
I'm not sure what this wood is, but it's got a captured ring. Here's another one. This is privet. You all know what privet is? Privet hedge.
Hold those up a little higher.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. There you go.
And closer to you. It's too close to us. There you go. No, I don't know what privet is.
Privet is a hedge. It grows wild around here in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's just it's invasive kind of thing. But it's nice clear wood. That's about 12 or 14 inches. And this one is hackberry, a little bit bigger. Decided to leave a
nice one.
You could drink out of that. All right.
So John, what did you finish yours? If you make it drinkable, what do you finish yours with?
If I make it drinkable, I put CA in the inside of it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Right on.
Yeah, if you make them out of oak or something, you got to make sure you seal it up real good.
Yeah.
Right. There is a product called Brewer's Pitch that's what it's used for. It's for sealing cups and goblets and those kinds of things. But if you think back and you look through some of the pioneering museums and you see some of the trine where there was no finish ever put on those, maybe some bear tallow or something of that nature, but that's it. They would use them, wash them, let them air dry, use them again. That's it. They didn't worry about keeping them looking nice. They turn black eventually, but that's just because of the food that's in them.
Well, that's what happens when you use a bowl for cereal or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the
They don't
fats
put
in the
heat
milk.
on those either.
Right, right.
Yeah, I've worked with folks at the SCA and at Renaissance festivals, and that's exactly how they do it. Whether it's a bowl or a goblet or a beer mug or whatever, if they're making it out of wood, there's no finish on it, or maybe they've got a mineral oil and beeswax finish on it, but that's it. And they just use it. That's exactly what you said, Doug. They just use it until it's, you know.
It turns black. It'll either start stinking or it'll fall apart because it's been used so much.
Well, and some of it, like sometimes.
In Antiquity, they burned the inside, charred it, and then rubbed out, and that's what sealed the grain.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
Yep, so up to you.
Let's look at my
Weeble
Weeble
guy.
Wobble. Let's look at the Weeble Wobble. So I made this about 10 years ago, one of my first off-center turnings. Let's see. Turn it around here. There we go. So it's Weeble wobbles, but it won't come down. It's got a chunk missing out of it here. So this was long before I understood anything about golden ratio, but it was a fun piece. And my wife likes it because it will rock.
Yeah, that's the most important critic we have. So, yep.
Indeed. So, yeah, that's me. It's a fun little thing. It's quite the little gag.
Thanks, Dane.
There you go.
Dane, I've grabbed several stem
now you can
pieces.
see the.
Nobody's got anything else.
Do what, Terry?
I say I've grabbed several stemmed pieces I could show if nobody has anything else.
Yeah, you bet. That's what we're doing, is looking at gallery items.
This is an offset turning of a goblet. Whoops, lost me there. This is an offset turning of a goblet that I made. It's a small, mesquite piece. It's not very tall. Down here, you're down. All three of these are down 3/16 of an inch or something. But it's real sturdy. Mesquite's real sturdy anyway. And none of these got the pith in them. None of them are stem pieces. And this is just a little lidded box. It's got a pretty small stem on it and a little finial on the top. Probably not with all the golden rule stuff, but everybody likes it.
Believe me, that's beautiful.
And then I made several with these with a spiral twist in them, a goblet. And the spirals are all done just with a hand file. I just take and put it in while it's still on the lathe. I turn the lathe down as slow as it'll go and take a pencil and make a line up through there. And if I don't like that one, I do it again. And then once I get it down to where I like it, I take a fine bladed saw or a coping saw or something and follow the line around to give me a groove to start a small file in. Then I just file them down. I've made quite a few of those. I made one that was a little smaller. The same technique. This is probably a little, maybe 3/16, a little over 1/8 of an inch in diameter. And it's like 4 inches long. But then I was monkeying around and decided I'd make a little bigger one. It's, I don't know, about 1.5 inches long and less than 1/2 inch in diameter.
Will you pull it closer to
down? It's pretty skinny down there.
Terry, we can't really see that. Could you pull it closer to yourself? There you go. That's a better place. Yep.
You can't see it because it's not as big as my fingers. Now you can get a pretty good picture of the spiral in it.
Yep. Very nice.
That's a piece of mesquite. And This is another one of the ones I turned. I think this was a piece of cottonwood. I was just playing with. This might have been one that I did at a demo for the club. But none of them have the pith in them. And the way I do them, doing it wouldn't work very well with the pith in it, because this is pretty big. It's probably a quarter of an inch or so, maybe a little bigger, because the way I did it was I had the tendon on the bottom of it, and I put it in there between centers and turned the shape of the goblet, and then I turned the top of this, and this from here up is turned and finished, sanded and finished. And then I just took it, and it was still in the, maybe the chuck I can hang on to. I had it in the chuck like this on a tendon. I just loosened it up and I torqued it about 10 millimeter so that it was turning off center, and it's strong enough so it supported itself without too much RPM. And you had to be real careful. And then you turn this piece, you turn the center, the bottom of this top and the top of this in the center, and you sand that and finish it. And then flip it 180 degrees and turn it back 10 degrees the other direction, or 10 millimeter the other direction, and do the same thing at the bottom, and go back on center and finish it up. They were kind of fun to do. I saw, I think, Record Power did a demonstration on it that I watched, and he did it a little different than I did. He had his centers a little different. I just did it easy and slowed the lathe down. These stronghold chucks and the tail, or the one-way chucks, the jaws are all straight. They don't have a dovetail to them, so you can really actually get a little bit of a turn and still get a good bite. You can pull it off and get a good bite, because at that time you're not using the tailstock, because this is going like this. So you need a pretty good bite and a pretty strong piece of wood, and a prayer. But it worked.
Very nice, Terry. I got a few of those.
That's all I brought in.
Yeah, really, that's a lot of good information. Really, that's a lot of good information.
Yeah.
One way does make dovetail.
Say
what?
what?
I can show one that's still a branch that doesn't have the pith in the middle, so you can see where it's different.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see one in there on the shelf like that, but yeah. You showing it? You got it?
Yeah, I'll show it right now. Let me do this up here. Oh. All right. So the pith on this one is not quite. It's a little bit off center, and you can see it come out right there,
yep.
And then
the
come
rest
down
of it
there.
was turned away, and then the rest of it's down on the bottom.
So it's not quite in the center. It's a little bit off center, but the pith is not in the point. Is the pith is not in the stem.
Correct.
There it is.
That's wonderful. That makes it nice and strong.
Yeah, and this is another piece of silver maple. So, and one of the things that I do is that whether I've got the pith in or not, as soon as I see a piece of the pith, I'm putting thin super glue on it. So I want to make sure that wherever I've got the pith in there, that it's got some thin super glue, so it's extra stability.
Good idea.
So
yeah.
So I mean, it's just like, let's say you were turning a bowl and you didn't want, and it had a couple of branches coming in or whatever, and you didn't want the pith to cause a problem. As soon as you see the pith exposed, you put some thin super glue on it, let it wick in there, and cure, and then you're good to go.
Very good information. I use a lot of super glue on anything that looks like it's getting a little loose. I put thin super glue on it, whether it's bark or a chip or something.
I got a cedar piece that a cedar cookie that I turned. The tree's like this, and it was a cookie, and I turned a bowl out of it, and it the whole time I was sure it was going to come apart. And this is years and years ago, but I super saturated that thing with super glue, both sides, before I even tried to turn it, because I was sure it was going to come apart. So, yep.
Yeah. CA's your friend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got nothing else, Dane. So,
All right, well, if nobody else has got any gallery items, we got about 10 minutes before the close of the show. Keep in mind, we're looking for pictures for the newsletter. Send your pictures in, 300 DPI or greater. Most all Androids take a 300 DPI or greater quality photo. Email it to editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. It'll get to Joaquin, and he will get it into the newsletter. Just send a couple pics of the items that you want in, and we will get them into the newsletter. If nobody else has got anything else to show, or nobody else has any other questions, sorry, I just realized my screen was off. Yep, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, when you make a goblet or a coffee cup or something like that, any type of cup, what finish do you use on the inside that's not harmful?
Well, we've had two suggestions. I use Helmsman's Spire urethane, and somebody else who's
CA.
I think it was John, says he's using CA glue on the inside.
You can use bar top, slow set, thin epoxy. And essentially, for a vessel that you're going to be drinking from, you're not looking for a layered built up finish. You're just wanting to seal that grain and make it impervious for any liquids to go into. Because nobody's concerned about how shiny the inside of your vessel is because you're drinking out of it or because it's shot glass. Or you can just do it the old-fashioned way, like they were doing, 3,000 years ago. Torch the inside, sand out at 320, 400 grit, make that all nice and smooth, wash it out, and giddy up.
Okay, because I was wondering about that, for food safe finish for one, and I know that you can't use a type of wax because if you put something hot in there, well, the wax is
Well, if you use wax or mineral oil, it's just going to be in your food, and you're going to drink it, and then you're going to be going to the bathroom a couple hours later.
Yep.
So you got two issues. Anything that's going to hold liquid. So your issue number one is food safe, to protect the surface of the wood, keep it from accumulating bacteria or food bits or drink bits or whatever. And your issue number two is the porosity of the wood. Will it leak? You want to seal the wood somehow so you don't get leakage. So, and that's one of the reasons why, as attractive as oak is, you don't necessarily want to use oak as a drinking vessel because it's really porous unless you can seal it up good. So like Dane said, charring is a really great opportunity, great option and that's how the folks who make, whiskey casks and wine casks, they're charring the insides of those things pretty seriously before they put anything in them, So charring is the ancient way of doing it. Right. So, and you guys are right about the beeswax and mineral oil. Beeswax is soft. You put something hot in there, it's going to begin to liquefy it, Now beeswax is not harmful, but,
it's just going to come out in whatever the particulates are, or when you're washing it, it's just going to come out. Same with mineral oil. It's going to come out, whatever food you have, it's going to be in your food. When you're washing it, it's going to be on your washcloth. It's going to go down the drain, and when you set it up, it's not going to be. It will not be on your vessel.
So when charring it, you just, I guess is there a video that I could watch on how to char the wood really good like that?
You burn the heck out of it, it's so that you have to scrape it out or brush it out to get down to a usable surface. You just basically.
I'll look to see. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt. I'll look to see if there's a video that I would recommend following. But like Matt's saying, and like what I do, I just char the inside until I've got some good, the grain's been raised up. You can tell it's been burned, and then from there, I go to sanding, to get it back to a nice smooth finish, because that internal heat is going to seal it's going to seal the wood pores because they're going to come together from the heat. Oh.
Yeah, and there's a natural sort of melding that goes on.
Natural bonding.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to be like charcoal.
No, you do want it. You want it to be, but you don't want to be a lick and a promise either. So, you want to be able to have some residue to scrape off. I mean, you are charring it, but you're not, getting it to the point where it's burned all the way through.
Baking it. Right.
Right.
There's a happy medium. And you'll know it. You're either not enough, or you nailed it, or you've definitely gone too far. If it looks like charcoal, then yeah, that throw that in your bucket for fire starter.
In other words, wait and look that you are drying the wood and then move on.
Yes. It's not a race.
As you can see it drying, move on.
Okay.
Most of the articles that I've seen, that I've read, that talk about food safe finishes say that if the finish has cured, such as oil, linseed oil, or tung oil, anything of that,
polymerizing.
Anything that's polymerized and cured is food safe. Is that
correct? That is correct. It's no more harmful than the Teflon or the spatulas or the HDPE cutting boards that folks use in their kitchen for cooking everyday meals. That finish, whatever amount of finish that you're going to ingest because you're vigorous in cutting up your wood with your knife and fork, the amount that you're going to ingest is less harmful than the little bits and flakes that are coming off on your spatulas from where you're flipping your eggs every morning or your pork chops at night.
Or your bottled water.
Or your bottled water. To include the water, to include the plastic, that Schedule 2 plastic that it's sitting in.
But most of the plastic finishes are food safe after they're cured properly.
Yep.
They're polys.
Would I sit down and drink a thing of tung oil? Absolutely not. Yeah, unless you're mentally deficient, to prove a point that it's not food safe, that's just dumb.
So one of the questions that begs, I mean, I've used in the deep dark past, I did use epoxies on my goblets and stuff, but it couldn't take heat. So the next question is what about using something like a 10-minute epoxy like JB Weld or something like that has a high heat tolerance? Would something like that, basically it cures solid. Would something like that work well? I don't know. I don't know. I would like to know, So
does JB Weld really have a high heat tolerance, or is it just the fact that it holds metal together?
No, it does have a high heat tolerance.
Yeah, they rate it. I mean, it's like you can buy store epoxies that have nowhere near that kind of heat tolerance. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I haven't tested it, right? I don't know anything that I could generate that kind of heat with. But it's like, I would really like to know if something like JB Weld with a high heat rating would work.
So JB Weld will withstand temperatures up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit when fully cured.
Gotcha. So that would cover any warm beverage or hot beverage you would put in there, because it's all less than the boiling temperature of water, which is 212. Right. So that would imply that something like JB Weld would work well.
Right.
And I know that when it's cured, it's sandable. So the trick, I guess, is to get it worked into the grain of your wood before it cures, eh?
Yeah. And then for the 5-minute epoxy, I don't have the original packaging that it comes in. But it seems like it's rated the same or close to that parameter. But no, that's not something that I do a finish for. So I don't know.
Yeah, because I got somebody who's wants me to make them a coffee cup, but I don't want any drinks wine, and I don't want it to stain the inside of the cup.
I'd do Parfix 3408 and call it a day.
Yeah.
What I would too.
Why would anyone want to drink something out of a piece of wood when we have invented so many things to drink out of?
Because it's more rustic.
Yeah.
Because
it's
my favorite saying is because I can. You know, why not? Why not drink it from wood? You know, even those ceramics you drink from, they're toxic. Everything's toxic.
Yeah. I think Mark did a big talk one time on the 3408 with a food safe, but I don't remember all of it.
Yeah, he did about 3 years ago. You know,
Might be on
once
the-
it cures, it's just like plastic.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
once
same.
again,
I use
is plastic food safe? You know, are we going to go, you know, grab a piece of plastic and chew on it? No. Are you going to get enough of that Parfix 3408 ingested in your system? No.
Yeah, I
Saying
use
how-
Minwax poly and I feel pretty comfortable with it, but I wouldn't put nothing hot in it.
Right. Aluminum is toxic, yet pop and beer is put in it.
Martin just posted an interesting link in the chat. It's a link to an Etsy listing for Irish oak whiskey tumblers where the insides are charred. And they show it on the lathe with this flame coming out of it.
Nice.
If you have a look, if you have a look through the pictures there, you'll be able to see this guy only makes whiskey tumblers. He's a very good turner, renowned turner. He's Irish chap, part of the Irish Guild. And he's found his niche in that market. He puts them into very nice boxes. He's really gone to town on these whiskey tumblers. He sells an awful lot of them at quite a reasonable, well, no, at quite a high price.
Yeah, that's a big price. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What is
it?
Get a good price, but they are presentation boxes. They're very, very nicely done. And he sells an awful lot of them. They're a couple of $100, aren't they?
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah,
finding the link.
I looking at the listing, it says it's $139.56. And the shipping is $55.82. So to get yourself into one of these whiskey tumblers, it's going to cost you over $190 US to get one here in the States.
Wow. Well, all right, folks, we're at the top of the hour. I want to thank everybody for coming out for the meeting. So this will be the demarcation point for the official meeting. I'm going to keep the meeting open for the unabridged after hours. After hours is where everybody lets their hair down, you know,